Dealing with an accident and injury claim can be overwhelming. Let Phillips Law Firm fight for you. We understand the pain and suffering, and we're here to guide you through. Call 1-800-JUSTICE today for a free case review, or visit justiceforyou.com and let Phillips Law Firm help you on the road to recovery.
Clock out and sleep in this Labor Day with up to 20% off everything at Casper. Save on the mattresses and pillows you need to perfect your sleep-life balance. Goodbye summer, hello slumber. Try Casper at a store near you. Visit casper.com/stores. Save 20% now through September 12th. Save on better rest. Exclusions apply. See casper.com/promo.
Hey, it's Mike Hawk. Join me every Thursday at 1 p.m. exclusively on the Odyssey app as we go live with Odyssey. Join in on the action as we cover interesting facts, top 10 lists, and some fun new games. Follow the Men's Room page on the Odyssey app and join in all the fun Thursday afternoons at 1.
Unfortunately, what you're about to hear is real. The members of this radio program are simply not that bright, or what some people would call educated. They are merely stupid. They're not trying to offend anyone on purpose. And all have played doctors on TV. You have been warned and are cordially invited to join the party. This is the Men's Room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. You know what they say, shake your radio more than 3 times, and you're playing with it. You're listening to the Men's Room.
And away we go. Welcome to Season 18, episode number 3928. Along with Steve the Thrill Hill, D-Ted Smith, and Michael Montgomery. And you are the Men's Room. On tap today, the return of Who Sucks Less. We will play Profile This, plus headlines, a Men's Room shot of the day, fun listener emails, and everyone's favorite, TV Time with Tig.
Clack, drinkity drum.
All right, here we go. Alabama police make an arrest after an armed carjacking done by an 8-year-old boy. Meanwhile, a 9-year-old girl had scissors stuck in her head for a week. Oh boy, oh joy. Cruise ship passengers upset at watching 78 dolphins getting slaughtered at sea. It appears Las Vegas is the new place for idiots to roam free. And police respond to a screaming woman who turned out to be a parrot. That is all coming on today's very special episode of The Men's Room.
And now, here's the question.
Hola, bitches. Good day to you and yours. All right, Ted once saved his mother's life. She was choking on a garlic knot. Ted gave her the Heimlich, and she lived to see another day. Well, there's a rattlesnake in New Mexico. It was saved when it bit off more than it could chew. You see, it swallowed a mouse, but the mouse was caught in a mouse trap. So the snake swallowed both the mouse and the mouse trap. Well, an animal rescue performed surgery, and the snake, good news, Ted, just like your mom, that rattlesnake will live to see another day. Now, not everyone or everything is so lucky. A 50-year-old man in India, he choked to death when a goat's eyeball got stuck in his throat. But choking hazards aren't the only examples of things getting stuck. A man in Norway got his testicles trapped in an IKEA chair while he was taking a shower. But even more embarrassing, a man in Hong Kong, he had to call the police himself to try to help free him after his penis got stuck in a park bench that he tried to have sex with. And then, believe it or not, his story gets worse from there. Then there's the story of a woman who, she was stuck under a couch for 3 hours. Another woman got her finger stuck in a shopping cart. And to top them all, as Miles pointed out earlier, a 9-year-old girl spent an entire week with scissors stuck in her head. A week. But like we said, things get stuck wherever and however. And that is at the root of today's question, which is, what got stuck? And where did it get stuck?
To be a part of the big show, call 206-803-ROCK. You can like The Men's Room on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Men's Room Live, and send those emails to themensroom@KISW.com.
Imagine a world where health means more than going to the doctor's office. It's why we created a health insurance company that considers so much more. WellPoint. Your whole health is our whole point.
Debauchery rolls on. You're listening to The Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Hold the cellos, away we go. Welcome to Season 18, Episode number 3,928. What a large and a charged program we have for you today. Guaranteed future repeat. Exciting return of Who Sucks Less. Steve, you bring us 3 stories from the news each and every week. They all suck. I don't know how you find these stories of people doing bad things, but people are out there doing them. They are. It's up to us to determine out of the 3 stories which one sucks the least. How are we looking this week on Who Sucks Less?
Funny you should ask. Ted asked earlier. And, one of these stories, Mike had in his headlines yesterday. It involved a very rich man getting an Amazon delivery and how he chose to handle that. We also have a man who, flying drones is kind of cool. Well, I understand where he's coming from. He just did something you can't do. And finally, if someone does turn down your karaoke request, just stay sane. You don't need don't need to lose it.
All right. Who Sucks Less is coming up. What else we have for you today? More Men's Room Monday through Friday exclusively on the Odyssey app. We'll bring you the Men's Room Happy Hour coming up at 6 o'clock, episode number 422. If you don't have the Odyssey app, we always tell you, download it. It's absolutely free. Be sure to sign into the app because every hour, if you listen to 4 hours of the Men's Room in the afternoon on the app, you'll be entered every hour for a chance to win some cool stuff. This week, it's tickets to Greta Van Fleet and a backstage tour, courtesy of KISW, as we present Greta Van Fleet at Climate Pledge Arena on August the 4th. So every hour you listen, that is a different entry for your chance to win that package, a guitar that's signed by the members of Greta Van Fleet. You get the backstage tour before the show. So be sure to sign in and check out the Men's Room page. That's where all things Men's Room exist. Everything from the Men's Room radio channel to all of our podcasts, Greatest Story Never Told podcast, the podcast, Megacast, our daily podcast are on there if you happen to miss the show. We have a Greatest Hits podcast that we do once a week for you if you just want to catch up on some of the highlights from the week, and all that and more on the Men's Room page. So that's where you'll find the Men's Room Happy Hour channel as well. So we'll see you coming up at 6 o'clock. Very good. And our question today, what got stuck and where did it get stuck? We'll start with this one. This sounds like a terrifying experience, although you got to figure eventually you'll get free. Officials in Wisconsin are investigating how 8 people became trapped upside down on a roller coaster. Some of them for more than 3 hours upside down.
Damn.
At a festival over the weekend. The incident took place at the Forest County Festival in Crandon. That's a city of about a few thousand people, a little bit northwest of Green Bay. So rescue workers responded to a report the passengers were stuck on the fairground ride, arrived to find the 8 people hanging upside down from their safety harnesses. According to a press release, they described the roller coaster car stuck near the top of the loop, with passengers being held in inverted position by their safety harness. Firefighters called in specialty teams to support the rescue due to the height of the ride. They used ladder trucks to reach passengers and securing each one before releasing their over-the-shoulder safety bars. The fire department said the rescue was also assisted by a fortunate bystander who turned out to be an off-duty firefighter with specialized rope rescue training. He just happened to be at the fair.
Right.
Which is crazy. It took nearly 3.5 hours to get all of the passengers down. One person was taken to a hospital. The exact cause is under investigation, but a ride operator described it as a mechanical failure.
No kidding.
Speaking of that, there was another mechanical failure over the weekend at a separate roller coaster where people were stuck for hours. The only difference is one person had a panic attack, which led them to have a heart attack.
Oh, geez.
They were going through a medical emergency, although not nearly the same situation as hanging upside down. They were stuck at the very top of a peak of a roller coaster and could not get down.
How long were they up there?
Up there for hours.
Did they live?
Well, the problem was they were just trying to get the roller coaster to move forward, because if they could get it a little bit more forward, it would just go on with its normal path. It was on the initial climb. The problem was that the way that the pulley system worked, it had jammed within the cars. So they had to figure out a way to get all these people off the top.
Right.
Which is maybe a little walkway, something to hold on, a little bit of a ladder, something like that. Either way, they had to come down on their own.
So they finally...
So what happened?
They had to. They basically brought them down one at a time with a safety harness and clipped in.
And the guy with the heart attack?
I guess they probably tried to take him down first. I don't know how he...
we don't know his fate.
I know that guy lived.
He did live.
Okay.
I know that guy lived, but that's crazy stuff. All right, here we go. A guy named Bagar Sai. He's a 50-year-old man from India, and he planned to offer a goat as a sacrificial thing at a temple. He, along with other residents of the village, reached, I want to say it's called Kopa Dam, on Sunday, where he sacrificed the goat.
Right.
So after performing the sacrificial rituals, the villagers then cooked the goat's meat and sat down to eat.
Sure.
All pumped up, Bagger began picking up one of the eyes of the goat from the cooked meat. So he tried to gulp it down as a ceremonial thing. Unfortunately for him, the goat's eyeball got stuck in Bagger's throat, choking him. As he struggled to breathe, he was then rushed to a district hospital where he later died.
He choked on the goat's eyeball.
Yes, so he became a sacrificial lamb.
That is a dumb way to die.
No pun intended. Ah, man.
Still gotta chew.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he just wanted to pop it down, show off. Next thing you know, he's got an eyeball stuck in his throat.
Right. Then we have a story of Ohio man who is going to the gym, and now he has been labeled the embarrassed gym goer. He is speaking out after getting stuck upside down on a piece of equipment. Now, keep in mind, I do go to a gym that is a 24-hour gym. Mm-hmm. Now, there's people that are there, Monday through Friday, typical times. 9 until 5,
sure.
There's somebody in the office. Nobody's in there on the weekends. Every once in a while, there's a trainer in there on the weekend working with an individual client. But for the most part, when you go in there, if you go in early in the morning or later on in the evening, there's nobody in there other than the people who are working out.
Right.
I have walked by there on my way back from a bar and see people in there at 11:30, 12 o'clock, depending on their schedule and everything else. But ultimately, I've determined that when I am in there, I'm going to stick with nothing but machines, maybe some dumbbells.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try benching. I'm not going to squat, in a rack with a bar. I'm not going to do anything that could possibly, I could get stuck myself or get injured myself because
there's somebody else there.
I don't have a spotter.
Right.
So I can't really have that crap. But the guy got stuck upside down on a piece of equipment. Or maybe it was a woman, Christine Falders. No, she went to work out with a friend at their 24-hour gym in Ohio. It was 3 a.m. They were the only two members there. She called out for her friend Jason, but he was in the next room lifting weights and couldn't hear her. After she was hanging upside down for 6 minutes, she called 911 on her smartwatch. I'm stuck in this reverse back decompression thing. Reverse back, is that kind of like one of those boards where you hang upside down?
Yeah, I think you get on and it folds backwards, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
She told the dispatcher, I think this thing went too far. I'm just stuck upside down. I cannot get myself right side up. After 12 long minutes with the blood rushing to her head, which I'm sure happened to the people on the roller coaster as well.
Sure.
Unfortunately, they were up there for 3.5 hours. I'm sure all those people came down with a raging headache. Cops finally arrived to free her. Took just a couple seconds to get her upright. As soon as my feet were back on the ground, I laughed at myself all day long. She had a minor headache afterwards.
Yeah.
Felt a little bit dizzy, but was okay other than that. As for getting on the contraption again, probably not, she said. She says people have been asking why she posted such an embarrassing video, but she says sometimes you just have to laugh at yourself and move on. We've got a lot more stories about people getting stuck and things getting stuck in some uncomfortable positions. Our question, what got stuck and where did it get stuck? 206-803-ROCK.
Quick text here. You probably remember this guy, and it even starts with, you probably remember me. I'm the guy with one eye. Right? We talked to him, last week, I believe it was?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so he says, I have
So
one
got
eye.
like 30 different fake eyes.
Yeah, 35 different fake eyes and all that stuff. So he says, I'm the guy with one eye. 15 years ago, I was in Alaska hunting. It was 10 below zero. It was so cold that my eyelid froze to my glass eye. It's the worst pain I've ever felt.
Oh, my God.
There's not a lot of people that can relate to that.
No.
They're just like, I never would have thought about my eyelid sticking to my glass eye when it's negative 10 degrees outside.
Yeah.
I guess that's a real danger, man. Well, why did you, listen, you were hunting, and we even said last week, and I believe he even said it, like, when he's hunting, not having an eye in almost made it easier. Because most people close one eye anyway, right?
Yeah.
We're not going to fire.
Yep.
So I would just say, why even put the glass eye in if it's that cold and you only need one eye? But hey, I don't have a glass eye. I don't know.
I can tell you this. There was a point where me and my friends, in a farmer's property kind of beside where we were, the farmer that would actually let us in the property, there was a huge-ass tree and a small little retaining pond. But the way that the tree was built, it was a perfect tree for a tree house.
Okay.
So we were collecting anything we could. Pallets, plywood, all the things that we needed. At the time, we were using my buddy Pat's dad's ladder to get up there and and then at the end, once we figured out how we were going to put everything down, once we got the platform there, we were going to construct some stairs, basically just like ladder stuff on the side going up. But we weren't using that at the time because the ladder was sturdier as far as taking up the pieces of plywood and all the heavier materials. So Pat is up there, and he's working on the platform. He's kind of putting down the foundation for where the plywood will go on top, so we'll have a platform, and then from there we'll see how much, if we want to build any sides to this thing. All we really wanted was the platform up top initially, just a place to kind of hang out inside the tree. So at some point in time, we're like, okay, we're going to work on it today. Pat got there first. It was either taking lumber up or like a one piece of plywood, I can't remember, but as he pushed the plywood up on top, he kicked the ladder out from behind him. All right, and he laid himself on the plywood up there. But
how high up was it?
But it was like probably 8-9 feet.
Okay,
but his legs were dangling off. He managed to pull himself up on top of this platform. But there's the way that the tree was built, there were no bottom branches. It was a pretty solid trunk all the way up to the first branches that kind of jetted out. So he's up there about 9 feet. So me and my buddies, we get there a little bit late. We're there like an hour later. He said he was up there for 2 hours.
Of course, so an hour.
Whatever the deal was.
It was 5, dude.
I don't know, man. But when we started walking up the hill, pretty clear view in this field because it was the only tree in the field. He could see us. He's like waving his arms and stuff. We're like, what the hell do you want? You know, he got there. He's like, I've been up here for 2 hours, man. The ladder fell down. I've been stuck up in this thing. Also, all the tools that he had that he needed to use to nail anything down, his hammer, his nails, other things. He couldn't do any work up there with the stuff that he brought up there because that was all underneath the tree. So we were just laughing our ass off at the fact, and we were like, we're not going to put the ladder up there. So we all kind of determined that we were just going to turn around and walk away and walk up. So he started walking down the field, and now he is freaking the hell out, screaming at us, and it was very intimidating. It almost looked like I say 8-9 feet. I think if it was 10 feet, I might have taken like a tumble roll jump. But you could
at least hang from the branch and drop down.
I think it was higher than that. Well, the problem was the platform was on top of all the branches. So the branches were going up. If you went out, you were going higher.
Right.
Than the actual platform, because the platform was kind of sitting inside all those branches.
How old are you guys?
9 or 10 years old.
All right.
So it was, I mean, when you got up there, it seemed to me like it was the greatest view ever. Like,
of course.
We constructed we call it like a lookout post or whatever to, if we were up to no good, we could go up there, we could, maybe sneak a bottle of beer or whatever, smoke cigarettes up there and do that kind of thing. But we thought like we
8 or 9 years old.
I know.
Ripping cigs and drinking beer.
Smoking darts at 9?
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, we'd share one because we'd catch a buzz off of it.
Yeah, I bet you did.
So
I didn't know anybody smoked a cig at 9 or 10.
My buddy was dipping at that age.
Damn.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean that was not unusual. Hey guys, for West Virginia, right? By any stretch of the imagination. As a matter of fact, you could dip in junior high. You were allowed.
It's perfectly acceptable.
You could have a dip in school and sit there with a spittoon at your desk.
But did they frown on you chewing gum in class? Because teachers always were like, don't chew gum in my class. You can have chew in your mouth.
I don't remember that. I remember chewing a lot of gum at that age. So I don't know. Maybe if it was distracting, if you were blowing bubbles and popping stuff.
Right.
But I don't remember that aspect of it. I do remember that R.J. Hart always had a spittoon out on his desk at all times. I mean, there was never a time.
And this is junior high.
This was junior high. Now, granted, he was a couple years older than me, but at the same point, he always had a dip in at school. He was actually one of the guys that ended up helping us finish that project because his dad was a carpenter, and they had a lot of extra wood and a lot of extra stuff at his house.
It all comes full circle.
That we got to use. Yeah, he had pallets and crap like that kind of came in handy as far as putting a side up and like a kind of rickety makeshift fence or border side that you would never want to lean on.
Yeah, of course.
With nothing supporting the damn thing. But
so how long did you leave your buddy up there?
We turned around eventually, but we just wanted to freak out and walk around like, hey, man, good luck. So we walked back down the hill, went in the woods, and he's up there screaming like, ah! And then we eventually started walking up and put the ladder back up, and he was he was pissed.
Well, sure, but it's funny.
It was funny at the time. Yeah, good times. Our question, what got stuck and where did it get stuck? 206-803-ROCK.
99.9 KISW. The shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
What got stuck and where did it get stuck? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Breck. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola, gentlemen. How are we doing today?
Hola. Doing well, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. So what got stuck on me? When I was like 10 or 11, I was at my grandpa's house, and he had like an open-ended box wrench, with the closed end on one side and the open-ended on the other side.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting out on the counter. He was like working on something on the house, and he had left it up there. I thought it'd be pretty cool to play with the shiny thing. So I was playing with it, and I get stuck on one of my fingers.
Thank God it's your finger.
Yeah, I can only imagine where else. And he teased me about it. It got stuck like all day, and they tried yanking on it, tried screwing off on it, and like doing all kinds of different things. And my dad was there trying to get on. My uncle was trying to get on it, and it took like almost a day and a half for the swelling to go down from them trying every which way. And of course, we didn't have insurance at the time, so they couldn't take me to the hospital. But like my grandpa used to walk around the house for that whole day and had a pair of tin snips. And like, too bad, we got to cut it off now. We got to cut it off. But eventually, when I took a nap, they woke up and basically they covered my whole hand in butter. And with a little more oomph, they finally got the wrench off my finger.
And you said it was on for basically the whole day?
Yeah, the whole day.
Yeah. I did when I got a place in Wallingford. There was a ton of moss and crap like that. Just one area of the home just got no sunshine whatsoever.
Right.
So there's a lot of mold and things. So I rented a pressure washer from the place up on Aurora, and brought that home. Started pressure washing, ended up being about a 4 or 5 hour thing.
Right.
All right. And I mean, like I said, nothing more satisfying and cleansing to the brain than power washing and cleaning your place. So I did basically the driveway, I did the walkway, I did the side where the mold was starting to form and all that crap. And I was probably out there about 4 or 5 hours. What I did not realize was how much my hands were swelling up. Just holding it.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. So by the time I was done, I saw that my finger, on my ring finger, on my wedding ring finger, it was starting to turn like a color of dark purple, like a red. I mean, like
right.
I mean, and I could not get that ring off. So basically, what I ended up figuring out was, and I tried grease, I tried all these different things. My hands were just so swollen up. I ended up running my hands under cold water, and putting it in a bucket of ice. And after about an hour of doing this, the swelling went down enough where I could finally get the. But I was like, I thought I was going to lose the damn thing.
Right? Like, oh no,
because the color on it was not good. I looked like it was definitively. This is not turning into a good color.
Right.
This is getting purplish.
It's not turning to a good color.
I'm going to lose a goddamn finger. What got stuck? Where did it get stuck? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Mikey. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
So what got stuck?
How's it going, guys?
Doing great, man. Thank you.
So when I was a kid, probably about 6 years old, I'd say, my family is like really into Lego sets, so we've got a whole bunch of Legos, so a whole big Lego bin. And when you're a kid, you just want something to chew on, right? And so one of the things that I chewed on a lot was Lego pieces. And I remember this one time where I was in the shower and I was chewing on like one of those little single circular studs.
Uh-huh.
And so I was taking a shower, and then I think I slipped or something, because I remember like falling forward just a little bit. I caught myself on the front of the shower, but in the little tussle there, I swallowed the stud and it got stuck in my throat. And so I was like, oh my gosh, what the heck do I have to do? Like, what am I going to do? And so I just I looked at the faucet and just started gulping down water, just trying to get it to go down. And eventually it did, but like, oh my gosh, that was like one of the scariest moments of my life.
Did you stop chewing on Legos?
Yes, I have since.
That's one of the most panicky feelings you can have.
Something stuck in your throat?
It's awful. I remember being a kid and just like an ice cube tray size ice cube. Oh God, yeah. I had one in my mouth, just chewing it, whatever, but it was still pretty big, and it ended up going down, and it stuck. Mm-hmm. And thank God it melted.
Yeah, because you go into an instant panic.
Because you start gulping and everything else, but you can't really breathe, and then eventually it melted down to the point where it fell down. But that was a panic. I do remember that. It was panic mode.
Did you read about this woman in New Zealand? She had a fish bone stuck in her throat, I believe it was. All right. So she gets a fish bone stuck in her throat. She knows it's stuck in her throat. She goes to the doctor. I'm trying to see if I can find the story. The doctor basically says, like, look, man, I mean, I could go in there and try to get it, but the way it's lodged in there, because she's not choking, it's just super uncomfortable, right? And he goes, look, we can try to get it in there. My concern is that I'm going to mess up your esophagus if we yank this thing out of it, kind of cut you open on the inside. So he basically told her to drink Coca-Cola for about a week and let it dissolve it. And it worked.
Oh.
It worked.
Wow.
Yeah, she said she was uncomfortable for about a week, but he was like, look, man, if we go in there, I'm telling you, we're going to end up ripping the inside of your throat. I don't want to do that, but Coca-Cola, just keep drinking it. And after about a week, it actually dissolved the frickin'
my daughter was, I told you, about 18 months, 19 months old, and she was able to crawl around and do her thing, and she swallowed one of the buttons that had popped off my shorts.
Right.
And she basically, what we did not understand was, about for 4 or 5 days, she basically ate nothing. She was not having any bowel movements. She was, going to the bathroom peeing.
Right.
But that was it. And you could tell that she was kind of emaciated. Like she started to get to that point. So we went in to get they run like a camera down there, and guy comes back out, and there's my button, and basically all the liquid had to drip through the four.
Right, those little itty bitty holes.
4 holes for the thread.
How long was it in there?
At least 3 or 4 days.
Damn.
So that was. But I was happy to know, because she kept regurgitating everything.
Right.
So nothing was.
But at least you go, okay,
down.
that explains.
All right, we know what the problem.
There's nothing wrong with you.
But that damn
you just
thing,
have a button stuck in the
thing was stuck right in the middle of the esophagus for at least 3 or 4 days.
Here it is, just real quick. It says a woman in New Zealand had a small chicken bone lodged in her throat, claims that she was prescribed an interesting remedy by the emergency room doctor. Beth Brash recently sat down to a local magazine to tell the unusual story of how she managed to get rid of the chicken bone that was stuck in her neck. It all started when she was visiting her favorite Wellington restaurant to try their new chicken dish. And to be fair, the Stas said, all right, it comes with bones. And she says multiple countries, they serve it this way, etc. Anyway, it gets stuck in her throat. So at this point...
Are you supposed to eat the bones when it says serve with bones?
No, they're letting you know the bones are there. So you can eat around them or
just
pull
normal.
them out. Like if they're serving fish, like, hey man, there might be some fish bones. So although alarmed by the sensation in her throat, she decided not to make a scene at the restaurant, even fought through the pain the entire weekend, assuming it would eventually go away. But it didn't. So she went to the emergency room first thing on Monday morning. She was informed that she did, in fact, have a small piece of chicken bone lodged in her throat. That's what the specialist told her. So that really cause for concern. But the woman, she was relieved to learn that the situation wasn't too serious, but still she expected to undergo an invasive procedure to have the bone removed. Instead, the department simply advised her to drink 4 cans of Coca-Cola to dissolve the piece of bone. She was surprised by the remedy, but she went to the supermarket, bought 4 Cokes, and to her amazement, she started feeling better by the next morning. And the following day, she was back to normal.
That's wild.
The Coca-Cola, just so you know, dissolves the chicken bone.
Well, it'll eat a nail in a day.
Yeah, that's a weird prescription.
Yeah, once you see that, I saw that as a kid. That was kind of part of a scientific experiment somebody did in one of their things. Like, look at this. After that, you don't want to drink Coke for a while.
Well, I thought that.
Just knowing that you can clean.
But we had a science teacher explain it because we were like, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, right. But he goes, listen, you have hydrochloric acid in your stomach. Drop a nail in that. It'll also eat away. So he's like, trust me, your stomach is worse than the Coke, but just know the Coke can do that. I'm like, all right, fair enough. Coke it is.
What got stuck and where did it get stuck? 206-803-ROCK.
But I choked on an Advil like 2 weeks ago.
What, it stuck in the back of your throat?
Yeah, like I always get the little gel tabs.
Yeah.
Tabs because they're easier to swallow.
But I feel like those get stickier faster.
For whatever reason, those are fine to me. But my buddy just gave me 2 regular Advil. And truthfully, like, look, there's one pill I take every morning that's big, and like I gotta cut it.
Right.
Right? Oh.
How big is it? Is it like horse pill size, as they say, or?
No, I just have a weird swallowing thing, man.
All right.
Right? Like, you see me choke on a
We're
oyster.
not in jail. Relax.
No, I'm just saying. Like, for whatever reason, I don't know what it is. So he gives me the Advil, and usually a regular Advil, I'd kind of give it a little crunch in the teeth with the water, but I was like basically his 8-year-old daughter sitting out there with me, so I'm like, be a grown-up.
Right.
Just swallow it. And then I stand up, just like, but I can breathe,
right.
But it's still in there, which is almost worse.
Right, because it's, yeah.
Right? And then I just got to stand there and keep coughing, and finally it just came back out.
A little girl just could keep looking at you.
She just walked away, and my buddy was sitting out there.
Joking, I'm out.
He was like, just keep coughing. It'll come out. Because I could
have a drink of water.
You could be like, well, the drink of the water doesn't help.
Oh,
because it's blocked.
Okay.
Right.
But it's not blocked all the way because you decide to like breathe in. It's all right. I tried to take a sip of water, but it was just like drooling out of my mouth. It was awful.
Damn, just take Advil.
What got stuck and where did it get stuck? 206-803-ROCK.
Can you just swallow pills? Like I am so jealous of people. Like my dad used to take like a handful of them and just swallow them down. I'm like, how are you guys doing this?
I can do that now. I mean, I prefer to have something to drink, but like if you're in a hurry or if my head's just killing me, like, because VD always has, like, aspirin or something in his office, right? So if my head's pounding, I typically don't walk in with water, so I just
I take 6 at a time every morning.
Oh.
6 at a time?
I just throw them all in my mouth and swallow them.
Well, that's the other reason, too, that, like, I could beat most people chugging a beer out of a can.
That's what shocks me.
But that's technique. I can't beat anybody chugging a beer out of a glass, because that's just opening your throat. That's like if you see me I don't know why
beer bong would be tough for you then.
Right. I gotta take 4 big gulps.
So what is it with the can that allows you?
That's about technique, getting it out of the can. That's not about opening your throat.
Huh.
About air getting into the can while you're chugging.
But don't you have to keep your throat open anyway? Sure. What is your technique?
No. Because the can, that's what I'm saying. It's about how you pour it. Like, you could shotgun a beer.
Right.
That's a little more opening your throat. But when you're just chugging out of a can, it's literally... Me and Bernie were obsessed with it for years. It's just about how fast you tilt it or whatever.
I got
Or
you.
if you put in a Montana speed hole or something.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. The air's got to get in there somehow to kind of bring
Right,
it
so
back.
that's why it bubbles.
Yeah.
But, like, you see me and Miles chug one out of a glass. Like, he's going to smoke me every time because that's just a matter of opening your throat.
Okay.
I can do beer bongs, man.
I'm not great
I
at them,
suck at
man.
Well, I just don't. At the same point in time, I don't want like 2 to 3 beers just sitting in my stomach all at once.
That's the thing. You do it.
They'd fill those things up, man, and it wasn't not 1 beer. It was like 1, 2, or 3 beers.
I still can't believe you're just... Like, I can't believe you're just dry taking pills and you're taking 6 at once.
I don't.
Mike,
I don't
are
know
you
if I
part
do.
of this giant throat club?
Yeah,
Giant throat club. Let's get T-shirts.
I freak out my wife and my mother-in-law by just dry swallowing pills.
Really?
What? I don't have to, but I do it just because I'm
I dry
I'm
swallow.
a tool.
Yeah, I dry swallow.
Yeah, like I said, if I'm in a hurry, I just, like I said, I prefer to have something to drink, but if it's not on hand, you know what I mean? Just
Honestly, the easiest way that I learned how to do it was, you take a pill and then you grab a glass of water and you just start drinking the water as if you're chugging it out of the glass.
Yeah.
And then it disappears in amongst it. Like, I don't even feel it.
Yeah, you just pop and swallow, man.
You bet. If I got
Pop
water,
and swallow.
no problem.
All right, so as he said, that's the way to do it. It's kind of like with your hiccups. Like, I have heard every version, and I have choked 100 times.
So you're not
choked.
right.
Yeah, I'm just like, I just know. And it's something in my family.
Right.
And my cousin had to have a surgery because his throat was so small.
Your mom almost choked on the garlic.
That's probably what it is.
Yeah.
It's probably just you just way your throat's built.
You got a weird built throat. And then you choked on like an oyster or something, right?
That was so uncomfortable. Yeah, because we're all at dinner. And finally, Ben was like, "Are you choking?" I was like, "Oh, yeah."
I think if anything, that would slide down.
I know, that's
that
what
would
I'm
be
saying.
the one
You think
food
of-
item. That,
So everybody in my family, and I like oysters, but we give them a little chew before we suck them down.
ooh,
Really?
ooh.
Yeah, I feel something about oyster. Like if they're deep fried, yeah, I'll give it a little chew. Otherwise,
No, I'm just throwing them back.
yeah. Like an oyster to me, I enjoy them, but it's more like about the aftertaste. It's like after you swallow it, you're like, okay.
That's pretty good.
But yeah, biting into it, I'm like, man, I just wouldn't eat oysters at that point.
What got stuck and where did it get stuck? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Troy. Welcome to the men's room.
I would just like to point out I am in no way a member of the Giant Throat Club.
You don't want to be part of the Giant Throat Club?
So you have trouble swallowing pills?
Oh, my God. If there's not water involved or some kind of liquid, there's no way I'm dry swallowing anything.
Really?
I always thought that was a myth in movies when you see people doing it.
I mean, like I said, it's not the way I want to do it, but, I'm just impatient. So if there's no water around, it's like, I just swallow the damn thing.
I got like a 5-minute process. I gotta get out my pill cutter.
Right.
Oh, you guys cracking me up. I just want to say I've been listening to you guys ever since I moved out here to Seattle, and it was about the same time you were here. You guys showed up with BJ. So thank you so much for bringing a great show to the airwaves. It's been awesome.
Thanks, man.
Did you ever think you'd stay this long?
Well, no, but I found my wife here. I found my career here. I met all of you guys across the courtyard in your old building. And, yeah, I just love it out here.
Well, we love it too. We signed like a 1 or 2 year contract or something.
Because radio is a very fickle
It
business.
is.
Right?
You're either going to do okay or you're
sure.
not. And if you don't do okay, well, then they get rid of you because you're not doing them any good.
Right.
So we just assumed we'd be here for a couple of years and try to figure out what we were going to do next.
I mean, honest to God. That was 18 years ago.
Right. So somehow that worked out.
I used to harass you guys about picking up smoking again across that courtyard.
Oh, yeah.
You guys started picking up smoking again.
I remember you, yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for that. Thanks for that. That really helped us quit.
Also saw the lady try to park her car on that courtyard. I thought that was hilarious.
Oh, the woman that drove down the damn stairs?
Yeah, that's right.
And then she drove down. Keep in mind, just understand, we're in this courtyard, all right? And it's maybe 5 feet below grade of the street. This woman pulls off the street, drives over a curb where the sidewalk is, drives down a set of stairs, realizes she's trapped, gets out of the car and asks us, is this a street? And I'm just thinking, have you ever driven on a street that has stairs? You had to jump a curb and drive over stairs and you think this is a street. Like, no, dumbass.
It was a Subaru, I'll tell you that.
It was a Subaru, yeah.
Yeah, it was a wide sidewalk.
We were just like...
Yeah, but you drove down like 5 steps.
Then asked, is this a street? No. That's why there were stairs, dumbass.
She was stuck there.
Yeah, she was stuck.
They had to get a tow truck
to get her out.
Get her out, yeah.
Her car's just sitting.
My actual favorite experience was I actually got on the elevator with Ted in that building, and he had this was the day after he had kind of missed work and gone out doing that mezcal run with I forgot what day he was in bad shape. It was like the first day after he was super hungover and missed his shift after doing the mezcal or something.
I think you went with like double R to something.
Oh, we were drinking absinthe on the morning show.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah. That's where the drink drunk comes from.
Good that day.
That's where drink drunk comes from after he said click clack. We had the drink drunk.
Yeah. So what did you
Anyway,
what's
you guys
what got stuck
where it
there?
got stuck. I'm a commercial industrial electrician. That's what I do, and that was in that building, that other short little building, right, that shares that courtyard. But one time I had to invest it, and we were going to cut in a new doorway, a double doorway in a wall. And one of the things you got to do is you got to figure out, okay, what's in the wall? Well, there was an interstitial level. That's the level between floors where mechanical equipment and stuff is. And I was able to access it. And so I cut a hole in the wall so I could look and see, okay, what is inside of this wall that I need to move before we cut in this opening. Unfortunately, I only cut it just barely big enough for my head, so when I stuck my head in the wall, I couldn't pull it back out.
Oh, no. All right. Well, what now?
Well, it actually took about 10 minutes, but I had the one tool that I really needed was my sheetrock saw, so I could cut the hole a little bit bigger. But it was a little too far away, but I did have a screwdriver that was nearby that I was able to kind of scoot it and get the sheetrock saw back into my hand. This is all blind, by the way, because my head is inside of a wall. And I managed to get my hand on the sheetrock saw, and I had to cut the hole just a little bit bigger so I could get my head out.
Were you worried you were going to cut your head?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I would be too.
I was also worried that I couldn't get my head out.
Right. It's worth the risk.
Better your head than your penis.
But if you, say you didn't have those tools around you or you couldn't reach them, how long do you think you would have been stuck with your head in a wall?
Well, it was just sheetrock. I probably would have started trying to punch it, punch a hole. I would probably started doing damage, but there was nobody. There was nobody around. It was either I get it out or I start damaging things.
The image in my head is fantastic right now. Just some
so you were in it? Was it a mall with people in it?
No, it was about 2 blocks away from your old building it's a commercial, it's a research building, research facility.
Oh, I think I know where you're at.
I was in the interstitial level where there's nobody. Nobody's on that floor. That's all full of mechanical equipment, electrical panels, HVAC stuff. I was all by myself on that floor.
You'd have been stuck for a
while.
There
was nobody around.
Damn.
That would have been really weird if you died, man, because the news story would be like, look, no one knew he was here. Our best guess is that he got his head stuck in a wall and basically died of thirst.
What got stuck and where did it get stuck? 206-803-ROCK.
Are you dealing with a personal injury? Don't go it alone. Turn to the experienced team at Phillips Law Firm. Their attorneys have helped thousands of clients get the compensation they deserve. Call Phillips Law Firm now. Call 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
When you think of health, where does your mind go? To the doctor's office? Or to your community, where you can join kids clubs and local events? At your grocery store, where an allowance makes it easier to eat healthy? Or on your street, where a ride is there to take you to the doctor? We're WellPoint, a health insurance company that knows that health isn't just one thing, it's everything. WellPoint, your whole health is our whole point.
What's up? It's your boy, The Ted Smith. Thanks for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast. Want more? Check out the greatest podcast in all the land, The Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and listen to a brand new episode every Tuesday night.
9.9 KISW. We return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
A woman was found alive, stuck in the mud at a Massachusetts state park a week after she was reported missing. A week after she was reported missing. Hikers heard Emma Tukuski screaming for help at Borderland State Park on Monday. Alerted the Easton Police Department, first responders made it to her location using all-terrain vehicles and rescued her by carrying her out of the woods in a stretcher basket. She was conscious and alert, but was taken to the hospital for observation. We thank everyone involved. The public never gave up hope that she would be located. She could not have been located without the public's help. The family had not seen her since Monday of last week. Police announced she was missing the following day. Police said at the time that she did not have a cell phone on her and that she has a history of struggles with her mental health. National Park Services advises people to turn on their four-wheel drive before driving in sand or mud. It also advises that you use your low gear and keep it low. No idea how she got out there, but she was basically in a mud flat.
Damn.
Up into her knees, and she was stuck in there for a week. Now, when we were up in Alaska in Anchorage, there were signs all over that bay as far as the tides are concerned.
Oh, yeah.
With people getting out there, and there have been horrific cases of people who got out there, got stuck in the mud. Rescuers went out there and tried to save their life.
But the tide's coming in.
And to the best of their ability, even though that person is alive, the tides came in, and they could not wedge the person out of the mud. So they basically just watched as they tried to help, the person that they were trying to save drown. So that stuff is no joke. I mean, you're basically in quicksand, and once you get sucked in,
you can't get out.
Back to the air thing on drinking fast or whatever. If there's no air to get in there, you're basically just kind of cemented in.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever walked out like when it's low tide, one of those beds?
No.
Oh, I have, because I love swimming. I mean, it is a struggle.
It is.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like
you'll lose a shoe. If you're wearing like a flip-flop or whatever.
Oh, it's gone. Yeah, I was trying to swim, so luckily I didn't have shoes on. Right. But literally, as me and my buddy were making we must have been 45 yards off like the actual beachhead.
Damn.
You just hear my buddy's a fireman, and he's like, partners, a lot of people drown.
Jesus.
Maybe we should go back.
Yeah, let's go back.
What got stuck, and where did it get stuck? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Daniel. Welcome to the men's room.
Liquor and whores.
Liquor and whores.
Hey, Miles, remember that half and half for the Red Man, half and half plug?
What is it now?
The half and half chewing plug, it's tobacco.
Oh, Red Man chewing tobacco, yeah.
Yeah.
I do remember Red Man.
Yeah, Red Man. You don't remember the half and half? It was like a white and green. Anyway, so sorry, that's not what got stuck.
He said he was 10 and smoking cigs. His buddy was
he was dipping, but he wasn't using chaw. I mean, that is the man's tobacco right there. My grandmother used to do chaw every once in a while.
Really?
Yeah.
My grandmother did snuff.
And snuff.
Yeah.
My grandfather was a Levi Garrett man.
Mm-hmm. Levi Garrett, yep.
That was another one.
My wife's grandma actually was a char as well.
My grandmother did mail pouch.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, mail pouch.
And a spittoon. Well, what got stuck and where did it get stuck? I was, circa 1976. I had put a pea, a green pea, in my dinner plate in my nostril. And I know, Ted.
It started good already.
Why? I don't know, but then what ended up happening was it got stuck up there a little bit, and then I snorted it, and it got stuck in my upper nasal passage, and I couldn't get it back down my throat. And then I told Mom, and so Mom freaked out more than I did. I ended up, I was basically making split pea soup almost in my upper nasal passage, but I still couldn't get it out, and there's remnants stuck up there still. And so I ended up at Harborview, because at the time I was living up there on Queen Anne Hill, and so my mom had to cart my ass down to Harborview to get some peas out of my nostril.
I don't know that I would take my kid to the hospital for a pee.
It depends. If it gets stuck in there, then it gets infected.
Yeah.
Right?
Because you hear about people who don't know. They put something in for years. They've had sinus issues.
Right. Or it's like a BB or something.
Like there's just like a little crevice or something that's holding it in there. Yeah. You don't realize it, then it's basically infected, and your nose is running, and then
I feel like there's something, like a long toothpick, something, spear that thing. And so, I don't know.
I mean, you think you'd just be able to blow it out.
I mean, eventually.
Little Legos. Kids get Legos stuck in their nose.
I will say, and I'm very happy about this, I know I was not a big, hey, let's put something in my nose kid, and neither of my kids are. Right? I mean, kids,
you put quarters in your nose.
Yeah, but that was to make money.
That was as an adult.
As an adult.
He said he didn't go through the space as a kid.
But the thing
he
about
was
sticking
he
the
knew
quarters,
exactly what he was doing.
I was dead broke at the time, and once word got out that I could fit like 6 quarters in my nostril, people would always come over and say, I heard you can stick 6 quarters in your nostril. I'm like, I can. They don't believe it. Do you have money? So they go to like the jukebox or whatever and change out their dollars. You do it a couple times. Basically, I made $1.50 a pop because no one wants their money back, you see.
No, I get
pull it out, but I would do it 4 or 5 times, and I could buy a pitcher of beer. That's how I got beer when I was young, kids. Yeah, probably 22 years old. Like, it worked. Once word got out, man, so every night at the bar, you can't fit 6 in your... I'm like, yes, I can, man. Get change. And they would do it. Hey, man, you want it back? They're like, nah, dog, no. But you do it a couple times, right? And I'm like, that's how I buy beer. You do what you got to do. That's my side hustle.
Were you someplace where you were, like, in a different country?
I was in New Orleans. So... the quarter in my nose for beer thing, I did that a lot in Baltimore, right? So I moved away from Baltimore. I moved to New Orleans. My first full day there, I'm just like walking around the city. I'm on Canal Street, all right? And there's a big dude walking toward me, and he keeps staring at me. And I'm like, Jesus, dude. So I kind of stink eye him back, but I don't want to be too aggressive because this guy can beat the living piss out of me. There's no doubt about that, right? So we walk by each other, no big deal. Then I hear, hey! And I turn around, and I'm thinking, like, dude, what is this guy's problem? And I don't know this guy from Adam. And he's like, you're the dude that can stick quarters in his nose. I'm like, you lived in Baltimore? He's like, yeah, man, I remember you at Mount Royal Tavern. I'm like, oh, yeah. I'm going to tell my girlfriend. So about 4 days later, this guy tracks me down with his girlfriend, who I did remember. She owned a coffee shop. So she's like, oh, God, we remember you. Yeah, quarter, man, blah, blah, blah. So she took me up like free coffees if I went in.
Nice.
All because I put quarters in my nose.
What got stuck and where did it get stuck? 206-803-ROCK.
Yeah, stupid.
I just love that. Oh, God, it sticks quarters in his nose.
I'm like, yes, you got the right guy. Hello, Scott. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, gentlemen.
Hola.
All right, so growing up, my dad had probably the coolest job. He was an FBI agent.
Oh, really?
And so he had a gun and he had handcuffs. And one time when I was about 9 or 10, I was playing around with the handcuffs. It was in the afternoon, and I put them on, thought I would be funny. And then I went and showed them to my dad, and he had this horrified look on his face and said, Scott, I don't have the keys here. They're at the office 2 hours away, and I can't leave right now. So for like 9 hours, I had to wear handcuffs.
Oh, man.
It was great.
Well, at least you knew you were in a safe environment, and eventually you'll be able to,
I just like that your dad's like, hey, man, that's funny, but bad news. So
yeah,
you said, all right, it is a cool job, FBI, but knowing how I was as a kid, that'd be like the worst job for my dad to have. So when did that work to your benefit, or when did that work against you, that he's FBI?
Well, my dad's job was to catch and interrogate East German spies. That's what he did. So it really never came into play because my dad couldn't tell me hardly anything.
I was going to say, it's got to be weird around the dinner table because he always asks, how's your school day, whatever, but he can't really participate in that with any member of his family, can he?
No, he couldn't. I mean, he did some other stuff. He did bank robberies for a while, and he was a sniper on the SWAT team, and he caught some mob stuff in Chicago, but I mean, they were all different. Some of the stories he could share, but anything that had to do with like the spy stuff, he could never talk about it.
Of course. Was there ever a point where he could talk to you about this stuff?
With the spy stuff, no. My dad's almost 83, and he still can't talk about it.
Right.
So,
yeah, because I would imagine being a sniper, he probably had some internal things that he had to deal with.
If you are a sniper, yes. Yeah. There's no question about your function there. Did you ever successfully lie to a man who works as an interrogator for a living?
No. In fact, I got busted at Kmart for stealing, and he used the fake lie detector test on me, telling me that he was going to give me one, and I didn't want to get caught being fingerprinted, my dad finding out, so I just admitted to the stealing.
It's probably best.
Sometimes that's just the easiest way to do it.
Especially if they interrogate for a living. Like, I'm not even going to try to lie to you, man.
Mm-hmm. And Scott, that's why they went out of business, because you kept stealing their stuff.
Just keep that in mind.
Right. Yeah. No one's going to ride that little electronic horse outside ever again.
Boy, I broke one of those things. I was with this kid. Kid's like,
where was he at? Wait, Kmart?
Kmart.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember it was in...
you could get an icy there, too.
You could. Remember, was it Marley Station Mall? Marley something like that.
Yep, down in Glen Burnie.
East Coast. All right, so the girl that I'm dating at the time, she's a nanny. So I'm hanging out with her, but she has the 3-year-old kid with her. And I don't remember what she's doing. She's probably just looking at clothes or something, but me and the kid went outside of the mall to wait for her because she wasn't going to be long. And they had one of those little horses on the spring, right? Mm-hmm. So the kid gets on there, and he's doing like little kids do. And I'm like, dude, let me show you how it's done. So I put my big ass on there, and I'm rocking this thing back and forth, and it broke off of the spring. And this is when I gave him a wonderful teaching moment. You know, when you break something, obviously that belongs to the mall, you should let someone know. And what I said instead was, run! We took the hell off. It took a while to find my girlfriend. We weren't at the exit that she thought we'd be at. But yeah, I made him run to the other side of the mall.
I just like the ones you put the quarters in, you get on there.
Those things suck.
I liked them as a kid.
Even as a kid, but they never delivered, man. Like, I get that they kind of moved, but like, I don't know, as a kid, and you say you're going to get on a horse, and then I put money in here and the horse moves. Like, you expect this horse to move like I see in Westerns on TV.
Yeah.
I'm like, you gave me a three-legged, crippled-ass slow horse.
I would spend my quarter on the little football helmet or something to one of those
or the
machines.
bouncy balls.
Yeah, like that's my parents, it was always, especially my mom, it was like a choice. So you get 2 quarters, you can ride that horse. Because I think I'm with Thrill. I like the idea of it, but I think every time I rode it, I was like, this sucks.
It doesn't deliver. Mm-hmm. Right, like you said, the football helmets and the rubber balls. They were gold, man.
Yeah. What got stuck, and where did it get stuck? 206-803-ROCK.
Or a handful of runts.
Yeah. How many? Did you ever get all of the runts that came out of the thing, right? You put your money in, then you open that little silver tab on the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm saying 20% of them hit the floor.
Yeah, I know.
God, man. We went to Comic-Con a couple of months ago, right? Take my daughter there. I'm there with like her and 6 of her friends. After Comic-Con, we're trying to find something to eat, and like every restaurant downtown is just packed. We understood, like, whatever. So we took the light rail down, we go to Westlake Station. At Westlake Station, they have this big candy shop. So I just said, you know what, guys, go in, and I forget how they charge, but you grab a bag, right, and it's like bulk, and you can fill these bags.
Probably by the pound or something.
So, I just told all the girls, I said, look, man, I got it. Just get whatever it is you want to get. So they're all excited. And my daughter goes to the M&Ms, and all I said to her, I said, babe, slow down. And no sooner do I say this, all you hear is, M&Ms all over the floor. And I'm just like, oh, my God, she missed her bag.
She just
because they're see-through bags, right? So she misjudged where the bag was and just tipped the shovel upside down, just dumped them all on the floor.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I was like, God damn it. I can't explain. It's just, there's 7 kids there. And, of course, the one who is biologically mine is the one that dumps candy all over the floor. I'm saying,
yeah, if it's not your kid, you could almost be like, not my kid.
Yeah, not my kid.
Just watching it for
Of course it's my kid. I'm like, God damn it, dude.
What got stuck? Where did it get stuck? 206-803-ROCK.
I mean, it's always going to have that. Be careful.
Like I said, I couldn't get the full statement out of my mouth. Like, yep. Hello, Pam. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, bichulas.
Hola.
This is Porcupine Pam.
Porcupine Pam. All right.
Anyway, okay, so quickly, when I was younger, my mom took me to the doctor, and they brought like 4 or 5 doctors in because when I opened my mouth, you could see so far down in my throat because I have a wide throat, I guess, so nothing ever got stuck. Anyway, I was at the mall, and I stuck my fingers through the chair in the food court.
Are we just calling to brag about throat size now?
I'm just saying.
All right, great. You can take pills.
I'm single.
Yeah, well, that's true. But anyway, yeah, so my fingers got stuck in the chair at the mall, and I was too embarrassed. My mom's like, we're going to have to call 911. I made her sit there for almost 3 hours till the mall closed completely before I let her get me help.
You stood at the mall with your fingers stuck in a chair because you didn't want to be embarrassed.
Exactly.
For 3 hours.
For 3 hours. Well, that would have been totally embarrassing.
Look, man, as a parent, I'd been like, tough ass, man. You're going to have to be. You're the one that got your finger stuck in a chair. I am not waiting 3 hours
well,
for the mall
fair,
to close.
I was a little bit older. I was adult, and I was pregnant. So maybe they just swelled up when I was sitting.
I was a little bit older, and I was pregnant.
So you weren't a child?
No. Not even close.
You were.
And you still had to wait for your parents to come and get you free?
Well, my mom was with me, but no, we had to call for help to get me out of the chair.
How did you get your finger stuck in a chair?
Well, it was like woven stuff, and I was just sitting there and sticking my finger in the hole, and it got,
Okay.
Yeah. I made her wait, though, because that would have been, like, embarrassing.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, did anyone, did mall security question you? Like, man, we noticed you've been sitting in this chair for hours and hours and hours.
No, but the people that were in the restaurant areas that were starting to clean up wondered why we were still sitting there.
Yeah, but they did.
Fair call.
It really is.
I mean, I'm sure, they wanted to go home, but I wasn't going to let my mom get a hold of anybody until most everybody was gone.
And how long did it take them to get your dumbass finger out of the chair?
It was probably like 25 to 35 minutes. They just put a bunch of goop on it and stuck a, file kind of thing to make it bend out a little bit.
And is it the fire department that has to do this?
Yes.
I feel bad for the fire department. You know what I mean? Look, if you're a firefighter, all of your training is about fighting fires. You even said you did the, when they were filming, Ladder 41 or whatever the hell it was, but you did the training, right?
Yeah.
And the training that they want to show you is stuff like fires and the heat and climbing the ladders and carrying the gear. And but your reality is, or some pregnant lady has her finger stuck in a chair.
Right.
You get to do that too.
Yeah.
That would just piss me off.
Nah, I was just bored, so I kept sticking my finger
in a hole.
Good times.
Till it got stuck.
What got stuck and where did it get stuck? 206-803-ROCK.
99.9 KISW. The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill.
Our question, what got stuck and where did it get stuck? 206-803-ROCK.
Couple of quick texts here. Says, I got a googly eye stuck in my ear as a child. Stayed in for about a week. Then it gave me an ear infection. My mom took me to the emergency room to get it removed, and then they had to put me in the hospital version of a straitjacket because I wouldn't stop squirming. And it's this one when I was a kid, about 7 or so, myself and my brothers, using a needle, we'd poke a hole in a Coke can and then sip it via the squirt. Well, I decided to do it by myself, and I forgot the needle in the can and sucked on the area of the hole and swallowed the needle. Got stuck in my throat for a few hours, but I was too scared to say anything to my mom and dad, so I just drank water from the tap all day long until it went down. That is terrifying.
That sounds awful.
My God, man. Hello, Jerry. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola, fellas.
Hola.
Hey, so back in the mid 80s to all through the 90s, my parents owned a record store in Los Angeles.
Nice.
And when your parents own own a business, that means that your kids are free labor. So I was working the front of the house, and it was real slow night, and I was sucking on one of those old school red and white mint hard candies.
Yeah.
And they suck on those long enough, I know it's round, so there's no edges, but the round part of it becomes pretty sharp.
Yeah, it's all like cratering stuff.
Yeah. And so there was no one in the front of the house. My parents had an office in the back. They were back there. And so I was on the phone. I think I was talking to my girlfriend at the time, and all of a sudden I couldn't breathe. And this candy got lodged in my throat. And I was like, oh, my God, I can't breathe. So I dropped the phone, and I'm literally trying to make it to the back. And by the time I get back there, I'm on my hands and knees because I can barely walk. I'm trying to grab my throat. My dad's thinking we're getting robbed. And so he goes outside to see if anybody's out there while I'm gasping for air on the floor. And then he comes back, and I'm pointing to my throat, and he's like, oh, he got something stuck in his throat. So my dad at the time, 6'5", pushing 3 bills. I was a senior in high school, maybe 6 foot, 185, 190 pounds. And he started to do the Heimlich on me, incorrectly, might I add. And if you can imagine what a rag doll felt like, that's what I felt like.
Well, he didn't break any ribs or anything, did he?
Oh, we're getting there.
Oh.
The candy never came out, and so he lays me on my back, and he takes his hand and he just scoops it out. The color comes back. I'm feeling better. Cool. Couple days go by. I'm having a hard time taking in. I'm at football practice and like, man, why am I so winded? I can barely breathe, right? And so I couldn't take a deep breath without like, oh my God. So finally went to the, black parents don't take you to the emergency room, okay?
Or anybody. Trust.
Yeah, so, I mean, they say, oh, boy, you'd be all right.
Go back outside and play. Do not come in here with that mess. I don't want to hear about it. I don't care why you're crying. Right, that's the response to everything.
Right. Run some testing on it. So I finally go to the doctor. Long story short, they found out that he broke a rib.
Damn.
And it's like protruding in, to one of my lungs, and that was, how it went down. So yeah, we still talk about this to my dad to this day. He's 88, retired now, doing well. But yeah, that was some crazy. That was pretty crazy.
So, crazy. But to get the candy out of your mouth, he just put his hand in your throat and pulled it out.
Yeah.
But broke your rib trying to do the right thing.
I did it. I'm a parent now, so you're like, we're not usually, most of us, not trained in that, and Lord forbid you have to do that one time, and you're like, oh my God, my kid's hurt. I just trying to help them, and you end up hurting them.
Well, if you ever took CPR lessons, they have the resuscitation antidote or whatever.
Right.
You can practice on that. You can practice on chest compressions. You can do it with a baby, an infant, and everything else. And they tell you about the Heimlich maneuver, but there's no real way to practice it. So they don't have
You would think you could take one of those anti-dolls, right?
Or something. But right, just the first time you do that to somebody, it's going to be the first time you've ever done it, even if you technically know what should be done.
Technically, I know, but I've never done it. So when you sprang into action with your mom with the garlic knot, that was your first Heimlich, right? You've done two.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, so the other one was on a child.
How did you just guess what to do, basically?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah. Well, I've seen it 100 times.
Sure,
I've seen somebody do it in a restaurant before, so I just kind of
did what they did.
What about with a child? Was that a little bit more of a scary situation than your mom?
100%.
Okay.
Because the kid is not saying anything.
Of course.
And it's a kid, so they're embarrassed, right? And, I don't know the kid that well, but you could just, I've seen it 100 times. I feel like I've seen it 100 times in the goddamn Smith family. Right. So she's kind of doing that, starts doing that, and just that open mouth. So finally, are you choking? Can you not breathe? Right?
Just nod their head.
But everybody's kind of frozen. So saying but I was conscious because, I don't think that kid even weighed 100 pounds.
Oh, really?
Nah, it's a pretty skinny little girl.
The Smith thing, did it all start with your cousin who drowned when he swallowed his dentures?
The dentures?
Yeah.
That might be.
Good to see, man. That's a tiny throw in the family.
Survived World War II. Couldn't survive swimming at the beach.
Damn.
But yeah, with the kid, that was much scarier because I was very conscious of don't break this kid's ribs.
Was he swimming in the ocean or was he swimming in a pool?
The story is he was swimming in the ocean.
All right.
And a wave hits him, knocks the dentures
into his throat.
And nobody could pull them out?
Look, I don't know. All I know is and then this was like a second uncle or whatever. He lived up there and I had never seen him without his dentures. He pulls them out and I said, why are you what? He's like, those are dentures. Why do you do that? He goes, because you'll choke if you go swimming in the ocean on them. It happened to your whatever uncle.
Right.
So these are kind of extended families. So it wasn't like one of my families, but that was always the story.
You'll choke and die if you don't take them out.
Yeah. And I don't know. And I remember as a kid, but I guess maybe just I've always had a weird thing with swallowing. Just choking is like a weird thing. Me and my brother talk about it. told you, my cousin Tom, he thought he had indigestion for a month. And finally he goes in and they're like, oh man, no, your esophagus is all messed up. And he had to really have a surgery.
Huh. That's a weird trait in the family. You get a male pattern baldness or the people on this side are tall and not we got tiny throats.
Look, I live alone. It is a giant fear of mine. Because sometimes you take a bite and it's not messed up or nothing. So, and when you swallow and you realize
it just doesn't go.
I should have chewed that more.
Yes.
And then you kind of go, Jesus.
Well, sometimes they have a balloon that they pump up to expand your esophagus. They snake a balloon. And other times it looks like the instrument that you would use for a gynecological or gynecology.
The forceps looking thing?
It just kind of opens up.
Okay.
So you can kind of see what's going on in there.
Maybe it's the same tool.
It's
Larry.
Yeah, right.
Give me one of your lady tools.
This tastes fine.
You know what? I gotta check him with the doctor a couple of weeks. I'll ask him.
Do I have an unusually tiny
I'm 42. Throat? Is it weird that I can't take that one pill? And also, I'm so embarrassed because this is a newer prescription the last couple of months. I haven't had the
What is the dentist say?
I haven't had the guts to go in there and be like,
Get smaller pills.
I get smaller pills.
Well, you ask your dentist too, because they're looking in your mouth.
I should ask the dentist. Right.
Yeah.
I have a tiny throat. Funny you should ask.
What got him here? What got stuck and where did it get stuck? 206-803-ROCK. I'll stretch that bit.
Well, like when I was a kid, that was a giant thing. Everything had to be liquid.
You mean as a child?
Right, because it's like we just couldn't take the pills. Everything had to be liquid.
Right.
Does that come in a liquid form? And most child things come in liquid forms.
Yes, it did. Just because of that.
My son will swallow a pill. My daughter will not. So with her, it's like a whole freaking thing. Like, if I have a headache, you have a cold, I'm like, we got to get liquid. Because she'll put it in her mouth, but she will not swallow it. Like, just swallow it. And somehow she'll swallow all the liquid around it. And the pill, I'm like, you got to stop holding the pill in your teeth. Just let the pill float and then swallow what's in your mouth and it'll go down. And she cannot get over this fear.
Oh, you don't even have to hold it in your teeth because I've done this. I don't know how to explain.
You swallow all the water in the pill still?
Yeah, and you're just like, I can't do it. But I'm saying, now I'm desensitized to the awful taste of using your teeth to crunch a pill.
Yeah, that is pretty nasty.
You know what helped me swallow
disgusting.
pills, man? Excedrin. I'm a kid. I have a bad headache. We didn't have any more kid crap left, so my mom, she popped Excedrin. She's like, here, have one of these. And she says, just swallow it. And as a kid, I'm like, no, I'm going to chew through it. I've never had anything so bitter in my life. Mm-hmm. And she's like, that's why I told you to swallow it.
Gets in your bloodstream faster, though.
Yes, it does.
It gets to the pain quicker.
Well, the headache went away.
If you chew it. What got stuck and where did it get stuck? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, John. Welcome to the men's room.
Gentlemen.
Oh, my God. Hola.
Hola, John.
Hey, John, do us a favor, man. Hang up and call us back, okay? Because we've got a phone issue on this end that we can't even explain to you.
We got the Mickey Mouse voice. Mm-hmm. There's just no way I was going to get through that call.
Try it again. What got stuck and where did it get stuck?
Hello, Corey. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, gents.
Hola.
So, it was about 10, 15 years ago when I used to play in my band. Actually, you guys might remember us, Underwrite Seattle. But I'm a guitarist, and I was playing my guitar, just kind of jamming with the boys, and my high E strum snapped. And it kind of hit me in the hand and just stung like hell. And I was just thinking, okay, whatever, my string snapped. And sitting there talking, a few minutes go by, and I'm like, oh, man, my hand really hurts. I looked down, and my high E had snapped and stuck in between my ring finger and middle finger about 2 inches.
Damn, dude.
Yeah.
And this is while you're playing a show?
No, not a show. Just sitting down, jamming, writing songs.
Ah, okay. All right. And do you just yank it out?
Yeah, he kind of just grabbed it, and I just pulled it slowly, and a whole lot more came out than I was expecting.
I can't believe it recoiled on you like that.
Yeah, I mean...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen that before.
Okay.
That's about 120 pounds of pressure between each string.
Right.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
How well did you wash your hand after that? Because if there's anything filthy, I would think a guitar or bass string is about as dirty as a thing could be.
Oh, they're nasty. I scrubbed it pretty good.
Yeah. I was going to say, man, that is the last thing I'd want in my butt. All you do is sweat on it, you know what I mean? If you sneeze, it's not like you go wash your hands. You just keep playing. Yeah, and it's just whatever you've touched that day is all over your string. Actually, it's kind of, every time I look at my bass, I'm like, don't think about what's been on those strings. You know what I mean? It's like they've been there for a while. Anything you've touched is still there.
What got stuck and where did it get stuck? 206-803-ROCK.
I haven't really thought about it right now, but I bet they are gross.
They are. I mean, think about it. You're just rubbing up and down on these things. Like, your skin cells are coming off. It's just dirt, skin, and whatever. Speaking of things getting stuck, actually, Ted, the homeless lady who walks with authority.
Oh, the way too confident homeless lady?
Way too confident homeless lady. We're basically on her turf, so to speak. So I see her earlier today. I'm talking to someone outside, and I point out, oh, this lady, this is her turf, blah, blah, blah. I look away. I'm talking to this other person. Then I see this other person's eyes kind of bug up, and they say, oh, my God, is she taking an S? And I turn around, and she just pulled her pants down. She's walking on the bridge that kind of runs parallel to I-5.
Right.
So if you were driving north or south on I-5 earlier today and you thought downtown, it looks like there's a woman with no pants on. You were correct. Well, she did poop, and then I guess something got quote-unquote stuck because she took her hand, reached between her butt cheeks, pulled out the remaining turd, just kind of flung it, and kept walking.
Sexy.
Yeah, I was like, I cannot believe I just saw that. Ooh. Like, I did not want to see that.
That's a person who walks up to you and goes, can I get a cigarette?
Nope.
Can I use your lighter?
No. Absolutely
You can have a cigarette. Cannot use my lighter.
Hello, John. Welcome to the men's room.
Liquid Horror, gentlemen, can you hear me good?
Yeah, we got you.
So that's what I had my radio on, so my bad. This is my second time calling. You all are awesome.
Oh, thank you, man.
Appreciate that.
So what got stuck?
Down to the business. This is like 30 years ago, guys. We were over on Vashon Island partying with my cousin. It was me, my brother, my sister, and my aunt and my 3 cousins. Believe it or not, one of them was just walking in the woods, and they fell into quicksand.
You're kidding me.
I wish I wasn't. I wish I was, but I'm not.
I always thought that was just kind of like, I don't know, Bermuda Triangle kind of stuff. I realized that mud flat.
Look, I knew it was real, but you only saw it in the 70s. That was a cliffhanger on pretty much any TV show.
It didn't matter who you are. The werewolf,
Somebody got
Dracula,
stuck,
Godzilla. I mean, they all got stuck in it.
Right. Everyone got
Superman,
stuck in
Batman.
quicksand.
I mean, quicksand was everywhere.
And the worst of it is you don't know where it's at until it's too late.
Right. That's the whole thing about it. If you knew where it was, no one would voluntarily step into it.
Okay.
So how long were they stuck in there, and how deep was it?
Well, again, this is 30 years ago. Stab in the dark, 10, 15, possibly 20 minutes. I don't know.
And how did you get them out?
I didn't. They died. No. So
Again, sorry, gentlemen, I don't know. I'm just telling you what I do recollect.
Okay. Gotcha.
Fair enough. Yeah, as a kid, I was always paranoid about quicksand because, again, like we said, every show that we watch, somebody went in quicksand. $6 Million Man, quicksand. And I'm like, this is the bionic frickin' man. He can't get out. I want to say the Hulk.
Yeah.
Even the Hulk, the frickin' Hulk, stuck in quicksand.
I think there was a G.I. Joe cartoon where they got stuck in quicksand.
All of them.
It was
always,
go-to.
I mean, it doesn't matter. It could have been Scooby-Doo.
Right. There's quicksand.
Whoever it was. They all had a quicksand episode. I'm sure the Brady Bunch got stuck in quicksand.
I bet you they did. I bet you there's an episode.
Like all of them. Here's a good one for you. A man in Norway just topped all of your IKEA desk assembly war stories for a lifetime. Klaus Jorstad wrote a lengthy complaint on the IKEA Norway Facebook page detailing his harrowing tale of how he inadvertently caught his testicle in a small hole on the company's merriest chair. Just in case you don't read Norwegian, according to the Daily Dot, Jorstad wrote that he placed the plastic chair inside his shower. While sitting and washing himself during the steamy cleanse, he noticed that he accidentally got stuck. Sitting there, I noticed the accident. I bent down to see what the F happened. I realized the little boy got stuck in there. Apparently, the hot water caused his nether regions, which he delightfully refers to as Skipper and the Two Boatmen, to expand. The water turned cold by itself, so I started freezing. The water got cold, even more cold than my mother-in-law's smile when I married her daughter, he said. Damn. So Georgestad's boatmen eventually returned to their normal size. IKEA responded on their Facebook page, "Hey, Klaus, we recommend that you take the stool out of your shower. If you choose to keep it in the shower, make sure you are well-dressed for your next sea excursion." Our question, what got stuck and where did it get stuck? 206-803-ROCK.
By the way, Miles, someone points out Gilligan Island. They had a quicksand episode.
They all had a quicksand episode.
Right. If you were on in the 70s,
Everything.
you were in quicksand. At some point, you ended up in quicksand. Hello, Brittany. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
So my story took place in the early 90s. I have a twin brother. We are little kids about to go to bed. We are in the classic PJs of a giant white T-shirt, XL, drowning in them. We're getting ready to go to bed. My brother, super hyper, decides to run into the bedroom and jump on his bed that doesn't have bed sheets on it yet because they're in the dryer. Well, upon jumping, he landed on a spring that decided to pop out of the mattress and go into his, general little...
The twig or the
marble
berries?
sack. Berries. Yeah, the berries.
Did you call it the marble bag?
Yes.
All right.
I kind of like that.
I'm going to go home today, baby. Want to play marbles?
I like the two boatmen.
Yeah.
All right.
Two boatmen. So how long was this thing could he get it out himself, or did he have to call for help?
So it was actually quite instant. It was like he bounced, a very vivid scream came through, and then he jumped up and fell, and my mom figured out what happened, and we had to take him to the hospital, and he got a shot in the butt.
Okay.
Yeah, just a tetanus, just to make sure.
Just in case you get that. Actually, a buddy of mine, my friend Tony, first house that we moved into, he was not our roommate, but he should have been because he's there all the time. Anyway, like anything, it's your first place. Your parents give you the ratty furniture they want out of the house. And it was a fairly decent chair, but it had kind of worn down. And the same thing, a spring barely poked up through. We were all aware of it. So anyone who sat in that chair, like you knew it was there, you sat in it different, right? It's understood. But because Tony didn't officially live there, we never thought to mention this to him. So he sits down, and again, we're not thinking about it. And I guess when he sat down, he did not notice that the spring had hooked into, as she said, the marble bag, okay? We figured it out. We're going to get up and go to the bar. So once we decide where we're going to go, everybody stands up. And man, keep in mind, this is a big-ass chair. When he stood up, the entire chair lifted off of the ground. Probably man. Just like half an inch. And I have never heard a grown man scream like this in my life. And we realized instantly what happened. He drops back down. He has his satchel covered with both hands. Man, there's tears in his eyes. And we couldn't stop laughing. He was so pissed, like he's going to sue us. I'm like, brother, I've known you for like 50. We're friends, man. We forgot to
sue you.
Oh, yeah. But, yeah, he stood up and basically with his satchel alone lifted the chair off of the... yeah, man. He was in bad shape for like a week after.
Yeah, that sounds terribly.
Oh, God, yeah.
Coming up, the return of Who Sucks Less right after emails on our question at the men's room at KISW.com.
Are you dealing with a personal injury? Don't go it alone. Turn to the experienced team at Phillips Law Firm. Their attorneys have helped thousands of clients get the compensation they deserve. Call Phillips Law Firm now. Call 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
All right, folks, listen up. Before we all clock out for Labor Day weekend, I have an announcement. Sleep levels are way down this quarter, so I'm recommending we shop Casper's incredible Labor Day sale to get our bedtimes back on track. They're offering up to 20% off everything site-wide. That's right, people. Everything from mattresses to blankets to pillows. Even nightlights for those of you who are still afraid of the dark. Looking at you, Bill. Let's visit Casper.com or a store nearby through September 4th to save on better rest and stop napping on the job. Exclusions apply. See Casper.com/promo.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith. Thanks for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast. Want more? Check out the greatest podcast in all the land, the podcast. Be sure to subscribe and listen to a brand new episode every Tuesday night.
The debauchery rolls on. You're listening to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Who Sucks Less coming up, but first time for a few emails from the men's room at KISW.com.
You've got
We'll do one from our question of the day about getting stuck. Bitches, my bladder got clogged by blood clots. They are a side effect from my transplanted pancreas after losing the transplanted kidney. Last Wednesday, I had to catheterize myself and use a large syringe to put water in the bladder and suck out the stuck blood clots.
God.
Sorry, Thrill, no penis farts for me. Not from Bo, the transplant.
I mean, that's the only good part about the catheter.
Jeez,
penis farts.
On to the birthday request, guys. Can you wish my brother Michael a happy 25th birthday? How about a fish sandwich medley? Your penis is too small. And Coach Ted telling him how to get better at selling solar panels. Thanks so much, guys. Been listening for over 10 years. That from Alex.
Can I get
a fillet of fish sandwich?
So you know I got
I'll have a fish sandwich.
Oh, brother, can I have a fish sandwich? With the cheese and the tartar on the side.
I'll wear a fish sandwich.
Is it too early for a fish sandwich? Cheese and tartar on the side. Oh, yeah. I smell the fish sandwich. Maybe some dinner relish in the morning. At noon. And at night.
Can I buy you a fish sandwich? Though you don't want a fish sandwich? All right. I'm assuming maybe you're going door to door selling those panels. Is that how they do it nowadays?
I don't know.
Yeah? All right. If you're doing that, then it's law of averages, number one. You want to sell 10 sets of solar panels, you got to knock on 100 doors. All right? Simple. Now, let's say they call you and they say, hey, we're interested in solar panels. You go over there, guns a-blazing, and you're going to close that deal. And they're going to say, sir, we don't need these solar panels. And you're going to say, I know how you feel. I felt the same exact way. But what I found is the energy costs I'm saving me allowed me to put this child through college. Feel felt found. Use it. Feel felt found. It's a sales technique?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, also, everybody, that is a technique. Don't let somebody use it on you.
Guys, can we get a birthday shout out to my buddy Brian? How about a cat fart and the captain telling him how to take care of his cats? Thanks, guys. That's from Holly and from Corey.
Oh, my gosh.
Ooh, well, ahoy there. Well, when it comes to taking care of cats, you came to the right place. Because quite simply, anyone on the OSS Guppy would tell you the captain is known to show full respect to any pussy cat that he comes across. Crunch Berries.
Gentlemen, I want to wish my friend Chris a very happy birthday. I believe she's like 27 again. She's a receptionist nurse at her husband's doctor's office in Key Center. Could you please give her a backwards fart and an inspirational thought from Miles? Thanks so much, guys. You guys are awesome. That from Chris's friend.
Yeah, of course.
All right, Chris. Receptionist. Okay, probably work on a computer every once in a while. So, Chris, remember this computer knowledge. No browser history is more suspicious than a clean browser history.
You clean the browser on iPhones.
Just asking for a friend.
Yeah, see, somebody got one like a week ago or 2 weeks ago.
Guys, slurping terps and beer bong burps. Hola, guys, it's my 31st birthday today, so pack the bong and pass it through the radio for me. Thanks so much. Liquor pudding, that from Joey in Tacoma with a big old bong hit. If we can.
Big old bong, right?
Yeah, big old bong.
Hang on there.
Oh, wait, Joey in T-Town.
Oh, and the Dirty Germans, too.
Yeah, you say you want this bong rip because you like to pull tubes. Tonight you'll be pulling tubes.
Yeah, also, I noticed in here he mentions the liquor pudding.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, in Germany, it's the opposite. It's pudding liquor.
Naked ladies, today is my 30th birthday. Can I get the captain to tell me what I should do for my 30th? Coach Ted to tell me what to expect in the new decade? And Miles with some inspiration. Much appreciated, guys. That from Tyson.
Ooh, well, ahoy there. Admittedly, my 30th birthday was some years in the past, but I remember it well. I just wanted to have sex with the Chiquita Banana lady, but she practices safe sex, believe it or not, and that's what my friend the Pillsbury Doughboy stepped up and said to use him as a condom. When you get used to his giggling, it's not too distracting. But I left her with a terrible yeast infection, because he's made of dough. Crunch Berries.
That captain is weird. All right, you turn at 30. First of all, you probably turned 30 today as you emailed us and Miles read it. So you woke up this morning and you realized, all right, I'm 30. Nothing really changes. Hell, ain't much going to change. And on the other half of 35, you start realizing small things that, like, freshmen in college are half your age or you're twice their age. Then you're staring down the barrel of 40. But other than that, it's pretty good. Save some money.
Mm-hmm. Okay. 30th birthday. All right, you might be here, you maybe not. Well, you got a girlfriend. But either way. Chris. Or Tyson. Whatever your name is.
Fella.
Think about this, guy. You never see an ad for a pregnancy test where the characters in the ad are all happy when the test came out negative. Hallelujah. Thank God. Thank you. Man, oh man, that was close.
Dodged a bullet like Superman.
Not hugging. Oh, baby. But Charles, it's Kyle's 31st trip around the sun. He's an amazing husband and dad. For his birthday, can he get an owl hitting the window and some thrill shotgun gets? Thanks, guys, with lots of love from Jess, Ryden, Wyatt, and Vera. Get. Guys, today's my 45th birthday. I don't know what'll do it, so here we go. How about Miles with some dad jokes and Coach Ted telling me half the Mariner season is going to be pretty good. Maybe some green beans. Thank you, guys. That from Brandy. All right, Brandy, I'll give you some dad jokes. I built a model of Mount Everest, and my son asked if it was to scale. No, I said, it's to look at. Oh, was it funny? Oh, my... What did one monocle say to the other monocle?
What did one monocle say to the other monocle?
Let's get together to make a spectacle of ourselves. All right. And finally, I just spent $300 on a limo and learned it does not come with a driver. I can't believe I have nothing to show for it.
Green beans,
Green bean. Green bean.
All right, the Mariners. There's a lot of hope surrounding these Mariners. Now, I will say this. Last year, they sucked for months on end. But right before the All-Star break, they turned it around. Correct. They've just won 7 out of 9. Maybe they catch fire again, heading to the playoffs. You have basically the same roster. I think they have a better chance of getting to the playoffs than they do of signing Ohtani, so take that with a grain of salt. Hey, look, he wants to play here. I think it'd be awesome. I don't know that I see that organization dumping out that money.
No. Hopefully. And finally, for the birthdays, all the boys have to send a birthday shout-out to myself. So how about Coach Ted saying it's not the end of the world, turning 63, the captain saying what he would do at 63, and maybe some dad jokes from Miles. Thanks, guys. That from Jeff.
Oh, 63.
63.
All right, Jeff. Good news. It's not the end of the world. Frankly, 63, I'm shocked. Most people are done around 59. But yeah, you're right. You could still do stuff like get the senior citizen discount, watch a movie, or you guys call it a matinee. We call it 3 p.m. Also, you probably can't drink much anymore. At least not beer anyhow, as you're 63. What's the other side of the hill even look like, brother?
Wow.
Well, ahoy there. Oh, 63 years old. You know, the Quaker Oats man, when he turned 63, he had introduced us to the 63 position. You see, he laid on his back, but his knees on either side of his ears, well, snap, crackle, and pop, and the other three, they just stared. He made eye contact the whole time. Crunch berries.
Pop's never recovered.
Dad jokes.
Pop's a little different now.
Yeah. Just got back from a job interview where I was asked if I could perform under pressure. I said probably not, but I can definitely nail Bohemian Rhapsody.
All right.
Guys, the Earth's surface is 70% water. That water is uncarbonated. Therefore, the Earth is flat. And a man was hit in the face with a bottle of omega-3 pills. He only suffered super fish oil injuries. All right, guys, here you go.
Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday to you, to you, to you.
Ya's a Dirty Germans brought to you by Men's Room Original Sausage. Available through Uli's World Famous Sausage, mensroomlive.com, and other fine retailers. Schweinefleisch.
And real quick, Ted.
What up?
Some listeners out there want to help your friend. With the iPhone, it says,
Oh,
Ted,
yes.
There's a book-looking icon on the bottom left of the browser. Click on that. That's the search history. Someone else says, Ted. Settings. Scroll down. Safari. Scroll down. Clear history and website data. Close tabs. And done. I got you, bro.
That
from
friend
Josh.
wasn't using, they were using Google.
Oh, well, I'm sure they'll let you know how to get rid of that as well.
Yes.
And that friend gets to be quick.
Coming up, guys, we will drink and toast with a shot of the day, but first.
Now, the men's room wants to know who sucks last?
Yay! Time for Who Sucks Last. Steven Thrill, you bring us 3 stories from the news each and every week. They all suck, but it's up to us to determine out of these 3 stories which one sucks the least. Now, if you happen to follow KISW on Twitter, the debate is already underway on Who Sucks Last.
Yes, indeed. And like you said, we have 3 stories. We'll start with this first one. If you listened to Mike's headlines yesterday, you've heard this story, but it bears repeating. In this case, a multi-millionaire media executive. He was arrested for pointing a short-barrel shotgun at a woman who was attempting to deliver an Amazon package to his home. Now, the 30-year-old victim told cops that she arrived at the 72-acre estate to deliver an Amazon package to one Stephen Saslow, 70 years old. Well, Saslow granted her access to his property by means of opening a security gate. The victim said that she'd parked her own Dodge Caravan in the front of the residence in order to deliver said package when Saslow, quote, unexpectedly brandished a short-barrel shotgun and pointed it at her. The woman told cops that while at gunpoint, she raised her hands, claiming, hey, she's from Amazon, all the while still seated inside the vehicle. Additionally, the woman said there were 2 kids. They were sitting in the back of the car. Now, following Saslow retrieving the package from her, she stated that he pointed the firearm at her again and told her to vacate the premise, which obviously she complied. Anyway, Pennsylvania troopers arrested him on a reckless endangerment charge.
Good.
All right, so there's that one. Now, I believe this is in Florida. where a convicted sex offender, he's facing video voyeurism charges after he flew a drone to peer into the bathroom window of his female neighbor. Investigators say that 32-year-old Stephanie Marola, she was preparing to take a shower when she heard a buzzing sound outside of the bathroom window. When she went outside to investigate, she spotted a drone hovering near the window, and as she approached the drone, it began to fly away. But it struck a tree branch and fell to the ground. She then grabbed the drone and dunked it in her pool to disable the quadcopter's electronics. Well, she lives with her 3-year-old daughter. She called 911 and reported the remote peeping Tom attempt. Well, a subsequent police investigation resulted in the arrest of her neighbor, Christopher Jones, who was home, where he lives with his 72-year-old mother. Now, cops did not reveal how the defendant was linked to the drone, but he did admit that it was his and what he was up to. So he was arraigned on a felony video voyeurism charge, subsequently released from police custody. Cops said Jones is a convicted sex offender, but that his requirement to register with state officials expired back in 2015.
Oh, so he's going to have to do that again now.
Flew a freaking drone over, you know. All right. And then finally, if there's a song that you must sing along to, and if you don't, you're just going to pull out a machete and run wild, of course. A 39-year-old man in Florida named Travis Jordan, he was at a karaoke bar a couple of weeks ago, and for whatever reason, they denied his song request. Do not know what the song was. But it sounded like...
That's funny already.
But it sounds like he sang one song, and then he wanted to sing another one. So maybe it was just someone else's turn. Who knows? In any event, this sent Travis into a rage. He pulled out an 18-inch machete. They say everyone was freaking out, but no one was hurt. The bar did call the police. And in the meantime, a woman talked him into handing her the knife, and she gave it to a worker who hid it until the cops arrived. So there's your stories. Wow. With the guy that we talked about yesterday, he is the rich dude in Pennsylvania. He's getting an Amazon package delivered, and of course greets her with a sawed-off shotgun with her kids.
But he already let her in the gate.
Yeah, he had to open the gate.
That's what's so strange about it.
We have the guy.
It seems like he's just hoping to shoot somebody.
Yeah. We have the guy with the drone who clearly was trying to look at his naked neighbor from outside of the window, but he couldn't fly his drone away without crashing into a tree. And finally, the other guy in Florida, he wanted to sing another song in karaoke. They turned him down, and so he pulled out a machete and started threatening him.
The guy, the 7-year-old man who pulled a shotgun on the Amazon delivery driver, he sucks a lot based on the fact that the woman had 2 kids in her car. Mm-hmm. She is doing her job. You ordered the package from Amazon. Maybe somebody in your home did. You were not aware of that. Either way, they were delivering something to your home. There's no reason to pull out she showed the package.
He let her in the gate.
She identified
if you're
herself.
That scared,
don't let her in.
And after handing the package over, he continued to brandish a firearm at her. All right? That's pretty bad. Especially with your kids in the backseat witnessing all this. And especially based on the fact that this woman is working, obviously, another job to take care of her kids, which in her back of the car. Now, convicted sex offender. This is bad because he's a convicted sex offender. This woman does not feel comfortable in her home, even knowing now that this guy is her neighbor.
Correct.
And, she doesn't feel that there's any privacy. She also has a daughter that is young.
Yeah, 3 years old.
This is nothing that makes you feel comfortable in your own home. Whoever turned down this Giacomo at the Florida bar, I don't know if he had a song with the N-bomb in it. I don't know what the hell. He's a bad singer. He sucks, whatever. That's just funny. And the fact that no one got hurt and he handed over the knife, no harm, no foul. I realize he brandished it.
Right.
But the reason that he brandished it was because they told him, no, you can't sing this badass karaoke song. And to me, that's awesome. So I think that story sucks the least.
All right.
I do agree. I think the guy that pulled out the gun sucks the most. I still don't, right, you're just hoping to shoot somebody.
Don't let them in.
Correct. Right? You let him in, and then, to pull the gun back on him, all right, tough guy.
Yeah, come on.
He's a tough guy. But I generally, and I can't believe this phrase is going to come out of my mouth, but I think the one that sucks the least is the sex offender. Only because he didn't physically do anything to this woman.
True.
Right? Like in the bar with the machete, there's still a threat to other people.
Correct.
Whereas this, you don't want that to happen, or she doesn't want that to happen, but nobody was physically harmed. Nobody else was in danger.
Right.
It's
creepy.
It's creepy. He couldn't even get the drone out of there, and now he's going to have to register again or do some jail time. So it's rare. But in this case, I think the sex offender sucks the least.
Okay. Yeah, that is a weird statement to have come out of your mouth.
Right? That's what I'm saying. I can't believe I'm going to pick him, but look, it was a toss-up between that and Machete Guy.
Machete Guy, yeah.
Now, I will say, as a machete owner, don't take him to the bar.
That would be rule number 1.
Rule number 1, leave the machete you don't have to leave it at home. Don't bring it in the bar.
That's okay. Leave it in the car.
Debate continues on Who Sucks Less if you follow KISW on Twitter. The shot of the day is coming up. You are listening to The Men's Room.
Imagine a world where health means more than going to the doctor's office. It's why we created a health insurance company that considers so much more. WellPoint. Your whole health is our whole point.
99.9 KISW. The shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
Coming up, Mets will drink and toast with the shot of the day. And we do have your headlines on the way at 5:50. But first, quick check out with Mike Hawk and some of the stories and headlines he is not working on.
All right, 30% of Americans believe in the statement, there's no such thing as bad publicity.
I mean, it depends.
You know, there's some truth to it, but I don't think there's near the ironclad truth that people would believe.
It's not as ironclad, right? I understand what they mean in principle, but,
right.
Depending what it is.
Sometimes bad publicity is still good publicity. However, there is bad publicity.
Are you the guy that caught having sex with a horse? Bad publicity.
Correct.
It's hard to turn that into a positive.
Right. Exactly. 3% of young adults would rather give up 10 years of their life rather than give up social media.
Wow.
Man. Okay.
Well, take up smoking.
Right?
10 years of their life to give up social... Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, it's always the last 10 years.
Correct.
People are all decrepit, broken down. It'd be one thing of like, well, you're going to skip 20 to 30.
And I wouldn't be shocked if that 3% is 3% that always knew social media.
Yeah, exactly. You're that young, that's what you know.
And what was it, 3%?
3%. So it's, yeah.
That's right.
That fits.
Yeah.
That's about right. That's actually lower than I would have thought, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe they're a star on social media.
Right?
Yeah.
I got to keep this job.
Right? You know what? Yeah. Travel and Leisure released their top travel destinations list as far as the top U.S. cities to travel to.
Oh. Okay.
For this, in general, or like this time of the year?
I think it's just in general.
In general, okay. I'd say, you can say Vegas, but this time of the year I would say no because it's so blisteringly hot.
Right. I would say New York for sure, Chicago for sure, Orlando.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that. Time of year does make a massive difference.
Right. Like, I like going to Vegas. I would not want to go now. I don't mind going back to the East Coast. I hate going there in the summer because it's so hot and humid, right?
Well, the top 3 that you definitely want to visit is, according to Travel and Leisure, New Orleans, Louisiana is number 3.
Okay.
All right. Santa Fe, New Mexico comes in at number 2.
I'll be damned.
All right.
I kind of want to get down to New Mexico.
Agreed.
I liked New Mexico, and my parents, they're between Albuquerque and Santa Fe. So we did Santa Fe 2 days. It's a cool little spot, but it's a little spot.
Yes.
Is it that small of a town?
It is, man. So you see what's cool about it, and then you're just kind of done,
All right.
Then Charleston comes in at number 1.
Oh, really?
Charleston, South Carolina?
Oh, yeah. I've never been.
Miles, you ever been down there?
Not in my adult life.
All right.
I remember traveling through there as a kid. Nothing that I would appreciate more so than now,
Charleston's great. My niece goes to college down there. Say one of the most famous barbecuers in the country, Rodney Scott. He does whole hog. He's got 2 shops down there.
All right.
All right.
Yeah. Our buddy, Zach, that runs the Matador, they just put one in Charleston. Charleston's popping off.
Did they put a Matador there?
Hey, they just opened a Matador in Charleston, South Carolina.
Huh.
Damn. All right.
They have great food, man.
The food is unreal. Barbecue. The only bad thing, and probably not now, there's the Zach's down there. The only bad thing, and granted, I wasn't in Charleston, I was on the Isle of Palm, but they was some of the worst tacos I ever had.
Oh, no.
Well, Matador's there to rescue that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we got an Italian taco. It was just meatballs and slices of cheese.
Well, there was your
on
first
a tortilla in a microwave. Yeah.
Damn. All right.
It's like something you eat when you first move.
Well, I mean, I've had a steak. Like, the Red Star has some tacos that are untraditional that are delicious.
They're very good. Yeah.
Sure. And a Philly cheesesteak taco.
Yes, after a couple drinks, Mike, Italian tacos sounded good. I didn't realize they were just going to cut frozen meatballs in half, put them on a tortilla, and throw the cheese in the microwave.
Come on, you should know better, Ted. Damn.
Also, I love those women's accents.
Southern South Carolina.
You bet, man. A new study found the best countries to live and work abroad in.
Oh, hey, where are you working this abroad? How about Portugal?
No.
All right.
Damn.
Number 3 is Panama.
Okay.
Number 2 being Spain.
España.
I was close.
Right? That's why I said it that way, because you were fairly close.
So we're just on the other side.
But then number one, right on the other side of us, Mexico.
Mexico.
Okay.
I feel like I know a handful of people that have gone down to Mexico and they just
didn't come back.
Yeah.
To move and start jobs, huh?
You bet. You bet. Work abroad down there. I feel like that's a trend.
Half the people I meet in Mexico are either from expats, either from the U.S. or Canada. And all of the same thing. They're like, man, we did the rat race. We ran hard, blah, blah, blah. Then we decided, I'm tired of working hard for other people. So they go down and open a restaurant because everything's so cheap. And they work 8 months out of the year, I believe. This is the hot season. So, yeah, some of our friends down there is this Canadian couple. The guy used to be like in charge of food for, I want to say like the Canucks or something like that. He was a Vancouver, but like they were contracted out to do baseball too. So he did the Blue Jays, he had the Canucks, and someone else, I can't remember. His wife did all the books and stuff. So they went down there, he opened a restaurant. And he's like, man, I work 8 months out of the year, right? This is the season they're closed because it is unbearably hot in Mazatlan right now. They go back up to Canada during the best time because they're in Vancouver. Correct. So like the weather is spectacular.
Oh, yeah.
They hit about October or whatever. They go back down to the restaurant again. Like, man, that is living, brother.
It is funny. Like, I have a buddy that works in Palm Springs. Same thing. He's like, it is empty.
Oh, during the summer? Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, it's completely empty, but he's like, right, like the busy season, once you get like the fall into like the spring, he's like, you can't believe how crowded.
Right.
You bet. Safe to say, all the men in this room have been around a woman at some point in their lives.
Yeah.
I'd like to someday.
Yeah, man. Damn right.
Sure.
Last night, had 5 of them. Sit in that bed like Brigham Young. He had a large bed.
Anyway, sometimes they intimidate us without them even knowing it. All right, brings us to
The Men's Room Top 10. The Men's Room Top 10. 10 ways women intimidate men without realizing it.
Yeah.
They know they intimidate men. Here's one of the most bone-chilling ways in which they approach their prey. They have the audacity to say, hello. And then the weakest of our species proceed to wet themselves.
The audacity to say hello.
How dare they? Doggone it. 10 ways women intimidate men without realizing. Number 10 being overly confident.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't be intimidated. That's just annoying to me.
It says turn on any relationship podcast these days and you'll see many females guests rate themselves out of 10. Sometimes the entire panel of girls will award themselves full marks, much to the host's dismay. And overconfidence is bad on anybody. That's not specific to women.
And like I said, it's not intimidating, it's annoying.
Yeah, that's
like we've had bosses that are overconfident. You recognize that they're an idiot, and it's like, you don't intimidate you, but God, you annoy the hell out of me.
Right. I don't want to be around you anymore.
Why are you so confident when you know so little?
I'm a 10. What do you bring?
I had an old boss who, I can't remember what I was going on about. He's like, oh, you think you know everything. I said, no, Bob, I just think I know more than you.
There you go.
And that's not even a compliment to myself. My goddamn dog knows more than you, but yes.
Number 9 goes right hand in hand with it being annoying.
Yeah. I mean, if they're annoying, I'm not really.
Again,
it's kind of
I'm
like
just annoyed.
Yeah.
I'm just annoyed.
Right.
You ever date someone who has a laugh you did not expect?
Yes.
And then you're like, don't say anything else funny. Because when they laugh, like it's almost embarrassing. Other people are looking at you like, ooh. Okay, just tell her sad stories. She cannot laugh again.
To be fair, didn't date, but
yeah. You find that out the first dinner or something.
Yeah, dude, it's just like, oh wow. Yeah. Can I get past that?
What is that sound? It's her. Don't worry, she's happy.
That's a sound of joy? Damn. Number 8, the insecurity. So this one's hard to define, as every human being on Earth is insecure about something, but the consensus in the thread leans towards unresolved past trauma. However, some women have endured abusive, neglectful relationships, which are reflected in their personalities and hard to untangle. One thing is sure, this goes both ways. We all need to deal with our past somehow. And again, that's not quite intimidating. I feel like this list wasn't...
Yeah, intimidating is like she's like a 9 or a 10 and she's really cool.
Right.
We're like, oh, Christ, I don't know what to do here.
Right.
I'm nervous to talk to you because I find you attractive.
But
I
that's
gotta
intimidating.
Stop staring.
But they know that they're doing it, Ted.
That's one of those ones where it's like I don't know what to do. I will say this: I think if you're gonna seriously date somebody, you gotta have some of those conversations.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You don't want to be down the line and then be like, well, what is this?
And I feel that's where the intimidation comes in, is that they don't want to approach that insecurity. And again, that is not specific to women, that it's everybody.
Yeah.
If they don't want to approach that insecurity, they will lash out and they'll be defensive and they will find any way not to confront it. Okay. Yes, like Ted said, you got to have those conversations.
Do you not wear open-toed shoes because of your hammer toes? Why are you upset?
Why are you crying?
What's the donkey story?
Jesus. You asked me how you look in those jeans, and you said that you wanted a true and honest relationship, yes? Okay. Why are you crying?
Don't look so sad.
I told you what I believe.
They don't make you look fat. You just make them look tight.
They just don't look good on you. Psychological bullying. Bullying comes in there. The connotation with bullies is usually a knuckle-headed, parentally neglected lunch money thief in the school playground. However, bullies can also wear a skirt sometimes. Put-downs or mockery are far worse than a wedgie, it says. Quote, where men may be physically threatening, women can be psychologically so. It's one commenter's interpretation.
Oh. To me, that's just women in general.
Right.
I don't know what you mean by that.
They're smarter than we are.
Yeah, you're just like, okay. I'm sure you're mad at me about something.
We all play to our strengths. Number 6. There you go, Ted. Beauty. Again, these are the 10 ways that...
Yes.
10 ways women intimidate men without realizing it.
All right, see, that one I get. Like, I am kind of intimidating. Like, you're that beautiful.
Exactly.
Do you find me intimidating? Oh, no, I don't find you attractive at all. I'm cool.
Nobody should.
No, we're good.
Nobody should begrudge a woman her looks and the resulting confidence, but most gentlemen find themselves tongue-tied when physically attracted to a woman. Confidence in women is sexy, maybe too sexy, and women should beware of men who are not fazed by it. Usually means that they're less attracted to them or trying their hardest to pretend as such. Yeah.
I wouldn't.
No?
I think you're hot.
Yeah.
Right?
Come on.
This is why you always got to get that, you get that comment like, wait, you're single? But you're so hot.
Right,
okay, well, sometimes people are just freaking afraid to talk to them.
We've had women that have told us that.
Yeah.
If guys won't even talk to me, I'm like, but I'm talking to you at the bar right now.
Hello.
You know what I mean? But I'll tell them, guys don't talk to me either. It's cool.
That, right, and that's one of those things, too, that goes both. You know what I mean?
But
like,
sometimes believe them.
Right, you do. But sometimes, so it's like, well, you don't like the guys that are talking to you.
Right. Guys come up and talk to you. I have no doubt. If you're that good looking, guys will. Right. But it's probably just not the guy that you want talking to you. That is right.
Which is also fair.
Right. It's like when people are like, I can't meet somebody. It's like, nah, you're meeting people. You just don't like them or have this crazy standard.
You're walking out on a dealership lot and saying, I don't see any cars out here. No, you don't see any cars that you want out there, which is fine, but there's cars here.
Right. We got nothing in here to eat. It's a whole pantry full of stuff.
Number 5, violent tendencies.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. All right. You know what?
Yeah.
That scares me.
That will intimidate.
Well, I don't know what the word is.
Why do you keep stabbing that pillow? Okay.
How do you find out one has violent tendencies while dating?
You'll find out. I mean, that's the thing.
That's the bad part.
Right. There's some trick. Like, you don't know someone has violent tendencies. I mean, that's not how you start a date. Hi, my name's Sarah. One thing about me, I have violent tendencies. Like, no one's going to tell you that. Right. They might not even know that they do, but you're going to say something.
Right, but if I open, like, we go out to get drinks on a first date.
All right.
And I say, you didn't stab your last boyfriend, did you? Then I look like the weirdo.
Well, what if she hesitates before she answers?
The last boyfriend? No.
The last one? No. I hit him with a car.
And I've only been convicted of manslaughter.
Number 4, micromanaging. Some men feel that certain women feel the need to be assertive or critical, which can be a turnoff. If given context, women don't always receive the same treatment as men in the workplace for acting in this manner. However, most guys want their partner to be at home to be peaceful. Quote, I don't want a partner to act like my manager.
Do you like anyone who micromanages?
No.
No. I don't know anyone who says, you know what, the thing I love about my boss is that he micromanages me. I like that he second guesses what I'm doing. Nobody likes that.
What are you doing over there at home?
Right.
What are you making? What are you putting in it?
I have to boot my wife out of the kitchen if I'm cooking. Are you putting that? I put it in there last time. You didn't know it was there. Just stop it.
Right.
Stop it.
That's exactly right.
I don't know that I call that micromanaging. Some people are just interested in what the cook's doing.
You are genuinely interested.
Right.
You're right. Like I
am being critiqued.
You
There's a
would
much
say like,
different
oh,
thing.
that's interesting. Not what is that?
Yeah. Don't put that in there. Can you make two separate ones if you're going to use that?
Number 3, being too independent. God. Quote, most men don't like me or approach me because I'm a strong, independent woman, says the next poster with thinly veiled mockery. Quote, we're all the good men. Well, where are all the good men?
I hope you're super independent. Mm-hmm. Right. This reduces my stress and means you have something to do with your life.
Go have fun, man.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm happy for you.
Right. Good.
Yes.
You got to keep some of that independence.
You got to keep all of it.
Yes.
However, number 2, aloofness. Multiple commenters bemoan modern women's lack of friendliness. Most feel like women send out most unwelcoming signals these days. Far more appealing is the warm smile and easy nature. Quote, women who are intelligent and assertive don't need to shout from the rooftops about their existence, intimidating men.
But I think 9 times out of 10, if you're the dude and you approach a woman like, oh, she's aloof, she's not attracted to you.
That's all.
That's all that.
She just wants
the
to
one
be
that
left
has
alone
the
from you.
Warm smile. Like, there are women that I've met, it could be the spouse of a buddy of mine, who seems awfully cold to me, but for whatever reason, very warm to their husband.
Right.
And I go like, right, her and I would not get along. You get along with her, it's fine.
Correct.
But then the number 1 way that women intimidate men without realizing, showing attention.
What?
Quote, that one of them might like me and then I have to figure out how to have my first relationship while in my late 20s, says our first guy in the thread.
Maybe don't overthink it, candy ass.
So again, these are the 10 ways that women intimidate men without realizing. Showing attention, aloofness, being too independent, micromanaging, violent tendencies, beauty, psychological bullying, insecurity, being annoying, and being overly confident. So in other words, women, stop womening.
Yeah. Don't be independent. Do not be good looking.
Right. You just knock it off over there.
Ugly.
We're intimidated.
And need help.
We don't know what to do.
Where are the ugly women at?
Where are my ugly women at?
I hate going to this bar because all the chicks in here are hot.
Oh, God.
And talking to me.
Yeah. Stop talking to me. You're intimidating me.
That's what sucked about Scottsdale. Friendly hotties.
They're just so hot, wanted to talk to me and take me home. And it's like, no.
Go buy your own drinks.
It's bugging me.
Yeah. No, we won't arm wrestle you.
Police in England investigated reports of a screaming person, but it turned out to be a big misunderstanding. Got the full story at 5:50, Miles.
Okay, thank you, sir. Headlines are coming in at 5:50. In the meantime, let's get a contest on the line for Profile This at 206-803-ROCK.
Have you or a loved one been injured in an accident? Are you struggling to recover fair compensation? Look no further. At Phillips Law Firm, the experienced personal injury attorneys will fight for your rights and get you the justice and compensation you deserve. They handle a wide range of cases, including car accidents, slip and falls, medical malpractice, and workplace injuries. Justice is a phone call away, so don't wait. Call today for a free case review. Call 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
Hey, it's Mike Hawk. Join me every Thursday at 1 p.m. exclusively on the Odyssey app as we go live with Odyssey. Join in on the action as we cover interesting facts, top 10 lists, and some fun new games. Follow the Men's Room page on the Odyssey app and join in all the fun Thursday afternoons at 1.
Already a minute to drinking time.
Somebody out there deserves to be recognized. And the Men's Room knows just who it is. So to you, we say... Bottoms up, sailor! You're the toast of our shot of the day.
Drink time it is, and as usual, we head to the drink desk and Steve will throw a hill to find out who we're toasting.
Yes, indeed. And today we toast a young man named Cash. He's about 10 years old, and he very recently saw country star Lainey Wilson in concert. Now, this little kid, he had the cowboy hat on, and he's dressed for the occasion, but he had a sign, and the sign read, quote, Lainey helped me win my bet. I need a hug. Then my brother owes me $50. So Lainey, she invites Cash up on stage and helped Cash win, well, some cash by giving him a hug. Right? The whole crowd cheers.
Nice.
It's this big moment. And then afterwards, when you watch the video, you see him whisper something into her ear. And she kind of has a shocked face. But I'll let Lainey explain exactly what he said. Keep in mind, this is the middle of a concert. And then she tells the crowd what this kid just said.
I won't believe what Cash just said. He literally just said, I got to tell you something. My brother likes your butt.
Yeah.
She does have a great ass.
It is just funny. She does.
But she embraces it.
Well, I was going to say, if you watch Yellowstone, she was just like the hot new character that could sing. And like one of the cowboys started like hooking up with her and everything. And then, it was like, I don't know, 6 months later. Because I was like, man, this girl's kind of awesome. And it was like 6 months later that video showed up and then she's just blown up.
She blown up. And somebody asked her, do you mind people talking about your butt all the time? And she's like, my ass sold records. She's like, I never kept talking about my ass, and then they heard my music, and then I sold like millions of copies. She's like, I'm just fine with that.
Good.
But man, I like that. My brother likes your butt. So we pour this booze, and we drink this booze because we think it's yummy.
Yummy!
So over the tongue and down the throat to party in our tummies. Down the hola bijola.
The Men's Room presents Profile This.
And Steve Hill, could you please tell everyone how Profile This is played?
I sure can, Miles. It's a simple game where we share with you a real-life news story, something that happened right here on planet Earth. And as you listen to the story, based on the stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes the story a story. And of course, the phone lines, they just took a big old X. So you and Ted get to play Profile This. Now, today we have your choice of 3 categories. We have drugs, we have bite me, and we have interior decorating. So drugs, bite me, and interior decorating.
I'm thinking about the weekend already.
So drugs?
Yes.
Okay, drugs it is. Here's your story. An Indiana man.
Drugs.
Oh!
It is, in fact, drugs.
Sorry, it wasn't a caller on. It sounded weird.
So, an Indiana man, he shot up the inside of his own home over the weekend after using drugs and had a gun battle with people that he hallucinated. Mark King, 62 years old. He's charged with possession of drugs and possession of drug paraphernalia. Anyway, deputies went to King's home on a Sunday after getting a call about a man screaming and swinging a broom. When they arrived, King appeared to be high on drugs. The Grange County Sheriff's Office officials then learned that King had used drugs on Friday and Saturday, and they began to hallucinate that people were trying to break into his home. He fired several shots at the imaginary intruders. He then went to a neighbor's house and entered the garage, breaking a window with one of his guns. It was the neighbor's home that he was arrested at. Well, a search of his home turned up multiple bullet holes, all coming from inside of the house. They took him to a hospital for treatment of delirium before finally booking him into jail. The question is, what drug was he on? Was he on meth? Was he on flakka? Was he on bath salts? Or was he on PCP? So meth, flakka, bath salts, or PCP?
I'll go bath salts, Ted.
You gonna go bath salts?
Yeah. They're all pretty similar, except for the meth.
Did you mention if he was clothes?
I did not, but I assume if he was naked, they point that out.
Right. So no PCP, or maybe this would be.
Yeah, I mean, Indiana feels bath salt-ish.
Bath salty.
Yeah. You know, not... I'll take PCP.
PCP for Ted.
Seeing people, he's shooting people.
Let's find out what this gunslinger was on. Was it meth, flakka, bath salts, or PCP next?
That was a tease. Clock out and sleep in this Labor Day with up to 20% off Casper products site-wide. Save on everything you need to perfect your sleep-life balance, from mattresses to sheets to sleep masks and everything in between. Save on the Wave Hybrid Snow's advanced ergonomic support and cooling technology, or the Casper's 3 layers of signature Casper comfort for the coziest price. You can even save on blankets, sheets, and pillows to complete your bedroom. Spend your 3-day weekend well slept. Visit Casper.com or store near you through September 4th to save on better rest. Exclusions apply. See Casper.com/promo.
99.9 KISW. We return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Category drugs on Profile This. We got an Indiana man that shut up his own house there in the inside after having a gun battle with no one because he was high on drugs. Question is, what drugs were he on? Was he on meth, flakka, bath salts, or PCP?
Start with you, Miles. You went with the old bath salts.
I went bath salts.
It was not bath salts. And Ted, whether you knew he had clothes on or not, you still went with the PCP.
Damn it. Is it flakka?
Meth.
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 Indiana. That makes sense.
Okay. Now for all TV news all the time, it's time for TV Time with Ted.
And now,
because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box. The Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
During Shot of the Day, we had played some audio. That little kid telling country singer Lainey Wilson that his brother likes her butt.
Mm-hmm. And I do too.
Yeah, I mean, come on. You know what I mean? It'd be like telling Dolly Parton, like, my brother likes your boobs.
That's right. I know, baby.
Like, she knows. She gets it. So she's going to perform on American... when she performed on American Idol in May, this Lainey Wilson, I like that. They say it was kind of a homecoming, actually returning to the scene of the crime. She talked about it before, but she said, I finally made it on American Idol. I tried out 7 times.
Damn.
It's just a long way to get around, but I finally made it. I never made it past the first round. Now, she can sing, so I'm kind of surprised she never made it past the first round.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've never heard her really until today when we're editing up that audio. In other words, when Mike edited the audio. But I heard part of one of her songs. She was fine.
You know what? You've heard one of her songs because Mike has it on the Men's Room radio station on the Odyssey app.
Oh.
It's a hole in the bottle, right? That's not her. That's Kelsey Ballerini. What is the Lainey Wilson?
Lainey's middle finger.
Oh, yeah.
Middle finger. All right.
Maybe you haven't heard it.
She's got a Hard Like a Truck, Watermelon.
Oh, that's
Sunshine.
right. Hard Like a Truck.
Smells like smoke.
I love Like a Truck. Anyhow, she just said, look, I tried out 7 times, finally got there. It wasn't the only show that she tried out for. I also tried out for The Voice. I'm just very grateful my story ended the way it did.
Damn. Yeah. Good for her.
Whatever road it takes.
Yeah, this one was a dusty one. Mm-hmm. Maybe some red clay down in Georgia. I will say, as you listen to more country music, there's a weird obsession with Georgia. Like, I've been there. Ain't much.
No. That's Ted's country song. I've been to Georgia. It ain't much.
Let's see. So we had the All-Star game going on in town. I will say, let's talk a little local other radio people here, too. Now, a guy in town, Softy, he was catching some heat, especially for Baltimore fans, right? They have a closer whose first name is Felix.
Correct.
So the Baltimore Orioles social media team started calling him the new King Felix.
Right.
So before there's like media availability before the home run derby. So he asked him if he should keep that moniker, knowing that King Felix Hernandez, played here. And the newer guy was kind of like, well, no. But man, people got all over him and everything. And I'm just like, it's a sports reporter from a town asking a fun question. And it's like, it's the All-Star game. But I just think it's funny because for all the Baltimore fans, it's like, yeah, the National League hadn't won in 9 years?
It's been a while.
Yeah. They won last night when somebody, the non-King Felix, gave up a home run.
Right.
So I think point proven, right? He already had another nickname. Give him that one.
Call him Prince Felix. I mean, someone already has the nickname, man.
Correct. We were talking about that on the Megacast today. Like, you wouldn't call somebody, there's only one great one in hockey.
Right. You can be great, but you're not going to be called the great one. It's just how it is.
Right. It's like, I mean, even quarterback names and stuff. Like somebody has a nickname, I don't know, you can't just take it.
The only one I've seen transfer as far as nicknames go, and at this point I'm beginning to think that you just have to have the name Joe and play quarterback, because there was Joe Cool, which was Joe Montana. And now Joe Cool refers to Joe Burrow.
All right, but that's generational. Because, I mean, I don't even remember Joe Montana being called that.
Yeah, he was the original. I remember he was the original Joe Cool, because when they went to the Super Bowl, all the first 2 against the Bengals that he played were super tight games, and you could not rattle this guy. So he became Joe Cool. So then Joe Burrow, and I understand why. Joe Burrow, another guy who's pretty even-keeled, as best you can tell. He's become Joe Cool, but yes, in the back of my head, I'm like, it's Montana's nickname.
I mean, that's a good point. I will say, Joe Burrow he is cool.
He is cool, but like you said, that's like 2-3 generations separate. You can't call him King Felix right now.
Correct.
If there's another great Felix 30 years from now, I'd be, okay, you could bestow that on him, but not right now, dude.
And the catcher for the Orioles that did very well in the home run derby, he's from Portland. Mm-hmm. He was a little kid when the home run derby or the All-Star game was here back in the day.
Right.
So I don't know. Maybe we just fire up a Baltimore versus Seattle rivalry. The Seahawks are playing the Ravens this year.
I'll be there.
That's true.
I mean, this could all be a start of it. But there was other funny questions that were asked to people during this All-Star media, right? Basically think like media day for the Super Bowl.
Right. It's just
now the Super
dumb
Bowl
questions.
Right. The Super Bowl has a whole week. So for like baseball and hockey and basketball, all that fun stuff you want to do is during the All-Star weekend.
Correct.
Right? Because like when you're playing a 7-game series and stuff, like if Miles has to pitch in 2 days, like he doesn't need me coming up asking a goofy question. That's what All-Star week is for.
Sure.
So I think it's good everybody got out there and asked questions. So they talked to Phillies outfielder Nick Castellanos, and they asked him if Scooby-Doo's a superhero.
I didn't realize Scooby-Doo was a superhero. Can you kind of explain his superhero lore?
I mean, well, first off, he's a dog, right? And he can talk. He solves mysteries. So I think that a dog that can talk and helps people by solving mysteries, I think is a superhero.
Can't really argue that.
No. It's a pretty strong point.
It is. Like, you've met my dog, right?
Correct.
I said, Ted, you know what's crazy, man? There's a lot of crime in the neighborhood, and my dog physically looked at me and began speaking in English and helped me solve the crime. Be like, yeah, you're kind of a superhero.
And what's the line on superheroes? Right? Is there just regular heroes? Like, is Mighty Mouse a superhero? Or is he
He's
just a hero?
Like, a regular hero is
like Sully.
You saw, right, he landed the plane. Everyone, right, he's a hero. Now, if Sully physically left the plane, got under the plane, and flew it back to the airport, you go, that's a superhero. You still save the same number of lives, but it's how you do it. You pull a kid from a burning building, you're a local hero, Ted. Now, same the building is burning, you put the kids on the 8th floor, and you leap up to the 8th floor window, we go, that's a superhero.
Sully Sullenberger, he lands the plane, he's a hero.
Mm-hmm.
If he's a superhero, he opens the door when the plane's going down and flies out.
Right. Let's
all right. So superheroes have to have superpowers.
Well, I don't know.
But a
because
dog.
Batman is also a superhero.
But he doesn't have any powers.
Rich, and he's a pretty good fighter. I mean, that's the long and short of it, right? Like, Homeboy can fight, and he's loaded.
Yeah, all right. I guess I never really thought about it. Like, what?
Right?
What
I mean, he can't fly. I mean, he can do things to help himself fly, but, like, in the end, he's a really good fighter, and he's got the money to get really cool suits, and he'll beat your ass, and he cares about his city, you know, but he's considered a superhero. In spite, the truth is, he's a very rich vigilante, but correct, superhero.
All right.
Is Aquaman a superhero?
I don't even know what the hell Aquaman does.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
he can breathe water. He can breathe water.
He can breathe underwater, but it's like that's where you were born. Congratulations, I can breathe air. I was born up here. You know, so what, man? You can do what fish do.
But he's still a human, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
I guess overall he's a mammal.
I mean, he's a mammal. He's more like a merman. You know what I'm saying? Like, you live underwater. You're under the sea, as it were. And I know, like, he can do stuff in the water, make water show up. But, like, is it really helpful that you can talk to a dolphin? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying you don't have a cool ability, but to me, Aquaman's more of like a carnival sideshow. Like, this guy can translate what a dolphin said. Like, okay, cool. Right, but we're not going to really need you. You know, Justice League, I think, was being nice by saying, all right, well, talk to water. Do your thing.
Captain Planet, superhero.
Yeah, exactly.
But again, he needed 5 powers combined to even show up.
So does that make you a superhero, or you kind of, you know what I mean? Like,
I think he was just a busy dude.
So you had to hear from all 5?
Right. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, I don't know, like somebody from your work. Right? Like, I send you a text, it's like, you got to be to work at 6 a.m. on Monday. You're like, yeah, whatever. Mike sends it, you're like, huh. Then, like, the boss sends it, you're like, all right, it's real.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Right. Okay. Now I believe it.
Right. So I think that's where Captain Planet was. He was like, all right, I heard from a couple of them, but, like, if water and earth don't show up.
Like, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, fire's not there, I'm out.
Think I'm coming out for heart?
Right. So I think last week I was talking about watching some Aerial America.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, I'm an old man, right? I watch sports, cartoons, and just history kind of shows, right? Also, I should mention Deadliest Catch is back with a new episode. So that's what I was watching Deadliest Catch last night, and then they started always talking about the price of crab and this and that. That's what got me into looking into Chile, is I did not realize there's king crabs down in the other south ends of the ocean as well.
Did not know that.
Correct.
It's probably where they all went. Hell with it, we're out.
Yeah, and it's like different and this and that. But, you know, so I'm all into this history kind of stuff or whatever. Are you guys, I think most of us know about it, but are you familiar? So there's a show on History Channel called Unsolved, like History's Greatest Mysteries.
Yeah, every once in a while I watch it.
All right, this was about Roanoke, Virginia.
Yeah.
Which is like technically the first colony. And there's just like a lot of scary stuff about it. So, like, they show up, and I did not realize this, because when you're taught history books, it's like when they show up at Roanoke, like, nobody's been there before. But that's not true. What was it? England had already, or the British Empire had already sent, like a group of soldiers over there and stuff.
Like a scout group.
Right, but people got to keep in mind, like, that part of North Carolina and South Carolina, and those barrier islands, like I was just out there in Charleston 2 years ago. It is hot. It is humid. It thunderstorms almost every day.
Without a doubt.
Right, like on demand. So the Army guys that were there, the soldiers, they only stayed like not even a year. And they're like, we can't take this. This is brutal. We're getting out of here.
All right.
So then you get the people with the Roanoke colony. They got 3 ships, right? They got men, women, children. Actually, the guy that led it, his daughter ended up having his granddaughter there, and they named her Virginia, which I'm sure had something to do with Virginia getting its name. So you've always heard about the mystery. So you just figure he leaves, he comes back, they're gone. But this show's great. They actually had other theories too. Like there's one theory that it's like, well, the natives might have just taken them over and stuff. It's like, right, but everything was taken down piece by piece.
Right.
It wasn't like they just came in and ransacked it. It's like they came in and checked it. There's also evidence that some of them may have made friends with the native tribe they already knew.
And roll down.
Yeah, because they just ran out of food. This dude said, I'm sailing back to the British colonies. I got to get us more food and stuff because you can't farm sand.
Right.
I don't know. Right? Well, you just can't do it. So they're running out of food very quickly and everything. And he's supposed to go for 3 months, but then he comes back, or when he gets stuck in England because a war breaks out, and the Queen's like, no more supplies for you guys. So that's the second theory, is that they just made friends and then actually just entered the tribe. And there's some, visual, not pictures, but the painted pictures where you go, they do have features closer to a European than Native Americans would have, right? It's kind of the same way, people have the argument about Babe Ruth. Might have been mixed because some of his features. So they look at that and everything. But the crazy thing is that they never found any remains of these people. You were supposed to draw a cross in a tree, carve a cross in the tree if you were in trouble. And there wasn't that. They had just carved the same word twice in 2 trees.
What was the word?
It's the name of the tribe, but I can't think of it right now. But it's Canucci or something. So they just...
Hey, with the Canucci tribe.
You make a great cannoli, Canucci.
Tell you what, we saw you roll up on your pole. You look a little hungry. Tell you what, we'll make you some native pie.
And some of those native slats you got on there with the deer skin and stuff.
But that thing is like the Titanic. There's still people traveling there all the time to that site to go see it and try to figure out what happened to these people. It's seriously, it's I guess I just didn't realize it was that big of a mystery.
I didn't either, because like you said, you just learn what you learn in school, so that's what it is, and you kind of move on.
Yeah, and at school, they're just like, hey, they disappeared one day.
Right, and that's the whole story. And they were gone.
Yeah, I hope they didn't get killed. I don't think they did. Honestly, I think they made friends with the other native tribe, and then they got together, and it was one of those deals where it's like...
I think when you're starving, it's real easy to make friends with people that offer you food.
Yeah, and the other thing, too, they make a good point, is that they came over from the British Empire, so, they've got some pots and pans and weapons that the natives don't have, right? And at this time, all of America is just the Native Americans, right? But also they're warring a lot with each other here and there. So it's like if me and Mike are constantly in a battle and we only live 50 miles apart, and then Thrill shows up, I'm like, all right,
where the white women at?
He looks way different than us, but he's got these guns, and I've never seen one, but I know it can kill Mike's tribe. We should, Mike. You started the war with me. I'm we got to be friends and figure this out.
And I'm like, use my gun, give me some food.
That's basically what it was. But either way, History Channel, History's Greatest Mysteries, whatever. Super cool show. Croatoan. That's what it was.
I don't understand because people texted it in.
Right, so they carved the first few letters of that and a few things, but that was it. And they had some interaction with them, down in South Carolina, so they were like, oh no, they're friends or whatever. But, look, at the end of the day, that's why it's one of history's greatest mysteries. Yep. They still don't know. All right, we got some sports on tonight. You got USA playing Panama right now.
Panama!
That's a Gold Cup thing. Your Sounders are taking on San Jose. I know the ESPYs are on. It's also a super interesting show I want to check out on Netflix. It's like behind the scenes of 3 NFL quarterbacks during the season, simply called Quarterback.
Clever name.
Very cool. Thank you, Ted. We appreciate it. You're listening to The Men's Room.
When you think of health, where does your mind go? To the doctor's office? Or to your community, where you can join kids clubs and local events? At your grocery store, where an allowance makes it easier to eat healthy? Or on your street, where a ride is there to take you to the doctor? We're WellPoint, a health insurance company that knows that health isn't just one thing, it's everything. WellPoint, your whole health is our whole point.
The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill. Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go. Alabama police make an arrest after an armed carjacking done by an 8-year-old boy. Meanwhile, a 9-year-old had scissors stuck in her head for a week. Oh, joy. Cruise ship passengers upset at watching 78 dolphins getting slaughtered at sea. It appears Las Vegas is a new place for idiots to roam free, and police respond to a screaming woman who turned out to be a parrot. It is time for headlines.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's my car.
All right, our top story. We go to Essex, England, where officers got reports of a screaming woman. The owner of a home got the knock at his door and opened it to find a couple of officers. Initially getting a heart-sinking feeling as to what the situation could possibly be, the feelings were quickly quashed as he noticed the officers laughing. Apologies. Laughing before he was even able to make contact. The officer told the man that they believed to have already figured out the source of the screaming that the people had called in about, as they noticed the man owned a parrot that was already mimicking the noises. Mm-hmm. See, this is yet again a knock against birds as pets for me.
Yeah.
I don't need...
The question is, why did it learn to scream?
That was my next thought.
What was going on in this house leading up to this?
Do you watch a lot of horror movies? No, my victims. In other news...
That's a very good question.
Yeah, why is the
parrot screaming?
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't... No.
I could not live with it.
First time that bird does that, it's out.
So, hey, man, can you watch my bird for me? Sure. I put it back in your house.
Right. I'm out.
It's not staying with me.
I'm not doing a thing. And the thing is that even if it is because of horror movies, and I like horror movies, a random-ass woman screaming bloody murder in my living room...
That's what you chose to do, right?
In the middle of the night. Not gonna happen.
What if it was like, I see dead people?
That'd be kind of funny. It'd be a little bit creepy after a while, and yeah, you know, after a thing or two, and you all of a sudden your bird starts talking about seeing dead people. How many people have had like legit conversations with their birds when they're a little on the altered side? Like all of a sudden, 100% speaking to them.
I think if I had a parrot, then I would show it like The Exorcist.
Oh my God!
Well, yeah, because some of
your
mother sucks. Right?
You're probably not wrong. It could have been mimicking something from the television.
That's what I would say to the cops if they asked.
Good point.
Yeah, the TV, man. That's it. Right.
Hey, Mike, if you're altered, you can have conversations with animals that don't talk.
That's a fair point, Ed.
Like your wise goat.
But it would freak me out because if you've heard birds talk, sometimes it sounds legit, and I would wonder, like, oh damn, did I just enter the dimension? What's going on here?
You would think that you did.
Yeah, you're so right.
I want a cracker too, man. In other news, in the Philippines, where a sibling scuffle turned into a horror situation, we covered this a little bit earlier today. A 9-year-old girl had launched into a confrontation with her brother, as young kids do, and her brother boiled to the point that he clobbered her over the head with his backpack. While this is problematic in itself, the bigger issue was that he had scissors in the backpack that landed in the perfect fashion and lodged themselves into the little girl's skull. She was rushed to the hospital, but her family unfortunately didn't have the money that was needed in order to perform the procedure, so she was forced to live with the scissors sticking out of her head for a full week as her family worked the funds together.
Jesus, man.
Okay.
Because she couldn't afford it. Like, doggone it, man.
Wow. Now, can you do me a... We will pay you.
It's your child.
Yeah.
I will figure out a way to pay this.
Right.
We got to get the scissors out of her head.
Right.
This is not like maybe you twisted your ankle. Right.
That's another...
That cracked rib will heal. You know?
Right. Payment plans and loans apparently are fairly unique to over here, too. So if you were to say, like, hey, could I just pay this in installments, they would have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That was in England?
This one was in the Philippines.
Oh, the Philippines. All right. That makes a little more sense.
You don't got the money, she keeps the scissors in her head.
Exactly.
It's how we do things here.
I get my money, she's not a toolbox no more.
Hey, toolbox, tell your parents.
Yeah.
It's like they're $5 short. Put them back in.
Oh, damn.
I know.
Bad news. The check bounced.
Put them back in. We need you to bring them back down here so we can put the scissors back in the head.
Back in your head. Oh, God. Over in Nebraska, officers stopped a speeding biker. They clocked the motorcycle at 106 miles an hour and made the stop. Jesus. While running the information on the driver, they found out that not only had he had his license suspended, but he had actually just left the local courthouse, having been sentenced for speeding and driving on a suspended license. And he was arrested.
If your license is suspended, don't go 100 whatever the hell miles an hour.
Right. Because that's an automatic, I think that's an automatic go to jail, right? Suspended license?
20 miles over the speed limit? Well, suspended license.
Suspended license.
That should be, yeah.
Right. I think the other stuff is you get a ticket, but I'm just you shouldn't do it. But Thrill's right. You're on a suspended license and you're still just speeding on your motorcycle like a jackass?
Right.
Man.
If you can't obey the rules, then they have to make sure that you do. That's called detainment.
Right.
Yeah.
Good job, man.
Good luck.
Right. Best of luck to you. Wild story out of Alabama. Police got calls of a carjacking that had taken place at gunpoint. The investigation led them to the suspect, an 8-year-old that had held up the owner of the car. They attempted to pull the child over, but he refused to yield, finally coming to a stop after he crashed into another car. Officers moved in and took the kid into custody, recovering the gun at the scene and taking the kid to a local detention center.
It's one thing to be 8 years old and take a car for a joyride, maybe.
Right. You grab mom and dad's keys.
Not an armed carjacking.
Right. At 8. I don't think I knew what that was at 8 years old.
I didn't. I didn't know what to call what I was doing. I guess the best way to put it.
The earliest I can remember ever taking the wheel, we were stopped at some family function, and we were stopping for a quick moment while my mom dropped off something at somebody's house, and the car was still just running, and so I jumped in the driver's seat and just played driving like kids do, and I threw the doggone thing in reverse and pulled it into traffic.
Oh.
That was it was fine. It was a residential street in suburbs, so we're okay. Nobody was coming anywhere. I didn't hit anything. But that's the extent of my driving knowledge, and even then, I didn't know why the car was doing what it was doing.
Yeah, of course.
Let alone fathom pulling a gun on somebody and being able to tell them to get out of the car and all that fun stuff.
Good times.
That's it for headlines. With that, Mike Hawkins out.
Thank you, sir. We'll see you next time for Big Dummy. The head chef's back with Ted's Meat and Potatoes. Lovely Taryn Daly is up next.
Yes, indeed. It's all true. But in the meantime, well, we be all about this bitch for 180 seconds or so. So until then, please do what you do best. And for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.
The Men's Room has been taped before a live studio audience. Wardrobe and makeup provided by Mantastic Limited. This has been a presentation of the Men's Room Radio Network. Oh, man! A Double Flush production.